Welcome. We're back. It's Friday. And what's going on? We're going to figure out what's going on this weekend. I think if I focus and I hunker down and I deal with some of my... Well, I have this disorganization, paralyzation that I could get sometimes, and it often happens around this point of a project where I've drawn a lot of the art, I've done a little bit of the layouts and stuff, and then I go crazy with the organization, and my attempts to organize everything just compile on top of previous organization strategies and contradict them, and then I'm stuck at this thing where I'm just so fucking disorganized. I don't know where to go. So I do have everything in folders and everything, and it's really more of a mental ability to just slow down, focus on the next task at hand, find the files I need, get them, and do that. So we're going to try to do that this weekend. We have some various news to get through. One of them is that I have decided that I want to open up my Discord server. I made a Discord server a while ago, but didn't really use it for anything. Decided I'm going to use this Discord server for fans of the animations who want to come and basically hang out and collaborate in whatever way you can. Like, you can make posts and stuff, and we can share ideas and things like that. I'm also going to try to include some various like little things. So I've got a bunch of pics from the episode that I've been working on. And you can go in the Discord and look at them. It's my DJ Danarchy cartoon. So that's nice. So that's the Discord. So if you want to be in the Discord, all you need to do is click on a link that I will share with you in a moment here. Great. So I'm going to put this in our chatting room. And we'll say join the Discord. So if you're watching this, you'd like to join the Discord, then you are welcome to do so, as long as you follow the rules. I plagiarized a lot of these rules from the Knowledge Fight, one of the Knowledge Fight Discords. Rule 1, do not be a dick. Do not engage in body shaming. Do not speculate about mental health or capacity. It's a great rule. Number 2, this is a safe place for all kinds of queer folks and everyone else. LGBTQIA and beyond. Violations will result in an instant ban. Yeah. So transphobia, homophobia will not be a part of this. Okay. 18 plus, no exceptions. Yeah, I like that rule too. I decided to take that rule as well. I only want adults. Ooh, we already have someone joining. Hello. I'm not gonna. I'm on streamer mode, so I cannot see you. But I will say, welcome. Now, so the idea, I think, is, say hi in the general. Like this. Perfect. And you can look around. I also have a little channel that says non-knowledge fright works in progress. These are some really old, little half-finished cartoons if you're curious to watch them. I might put more stuff in there in the future. But these are some stills from our thing here. So yeah, make sure you know the rules. Do not ever directly interact with Alex Jones or anyone involved with InfoWars. And if you do, don't talk to me about it. Don't brag about it. I don't care. Don't want to know. I will also ban people who are trying to troll or things like that. Do not link directly to InfoWars or affiliate sites. Yeah, that's a good one too. That's basically the rules. It's not much. And let's see. Perfect. You're watching my stream. Wonderful. We just got started. And look at that. Already happening. So great. You're a part of the Discord. So you can drop in the Discord anytime and throw suggestions or talk or say hi or whatever. Also, if anyone wants to get on the voice chat with me, I'm happy to do that too. If you have some suggestions or anything. So I just started. We just got going on the stream. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do yet. Well, two things. I'm going to show a preview of what's done so far in the intro of this video. All right? And while we do that, I'm going to get my drink and everything. But we will... Yeah, let's just do it now. I could probably play it again. I'm not sure how good the connection is and how good this is going to look. But let's take a look. Let's see it. So this is how the episode is going to begin. And it is a long intro. But once you see it, I think you'll understand why it's so goddamn long.
When you see something like Terminator, you think that's a movie? No, the art's imitating life. That's all predictive programming. When I say literally, I mean stuff in Star Trek, the Borg come to assimilate everybody. That's art imitating life. Just like we saw in the movie Avatar, that's what voodoo is. So you watch the Hunger Games, that's actually the plan. By the way, they had a RoboCop back in the 80s. Talk about predictive programming. Simpsons also predicted it. It looked like something out of Terminator. Rubbing their hands together like villains do in criminology, not just in movies. And it's not just movies like James Bond Spectre that are telling the truth. No, my friends, it's films like The Last Captain America. See that movie, The Blob? Basically like that, but in slow motion. It's like the movie Alien, and it really freaked me out.
It's called predictive programming, like Captain Planet. Well, it's just like that movie, The Shooter.
And just like in cartoons and movies, because it's just like in an old spy movie. It's all predictive programming. In cartoons and movies, that's exactly what scientists believe it'll look like.
And then when you're watching that movie, you're like, oh, that historically happened, that happened. And then Jack Bauer does it on the TV show 24.
Just like you see in the movie Ten Commandments. Just like in the movie Hurt Locker. Just like in the movie that's an excellent movie, The Island. Children of men, why there's no more babies. The sperm is all sterile. All predictive programming. World War Z, is this part of predictive programming?
Kind of like Gladiator where they stab.
You saw The Running Man? And they're scared of us getting together, just like in the movie. Is it Ants or is it Bug's Life? And they would go in there, and there's just all these people like a zombie movie. It's just like out of the movie that's based on a true story.
And I watch it, and it's like something out of a science fiction movie.
Just like in the old 30s and 40s movies that Indiana Jones was a remake of. The ceiling starts collapsing with spikes. There are a lot of temples around the world that actually have stuff like that in them.
Hollywood.
By the way, I've been in Hollywood movies. I've been around.
Hollywood.
I've actually been offered jobs in voiceovers in Hollywood.
Edowood.
I mean, I've been in some big Hollywood films.
Oh, my God.
I've been in 2 big Hollywood productions with major roles.
I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. I've been in the most elite Hollywood parties there are.
Celebrities are hot because they all drink baby blood. Donald Trump is saving us from satanic pedo scum.
When you see something like...
There we go. That is it. Hello, Mia. Mia, oh good. I needed to laugh. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. But this is not all. This is not even the whole. This is not even the episode. This is just the intro to the episode. So, because this episode, the theme is movies, and Alex pretending to be in a movie, which is the Movie Network. There's one weird mistake in this that I don't know if anyone cares. It sort of bugs me. And that's, where is it? It's this one. His mouth doesn't line up with his voice.
What scientists believe it'll look like.
And when you're
It used to. At some point in the project, I nudged that video file forward or back or something. Because his mouth is like not lining up at all.
What scientists believe it'll look like.
Exactly what scientists believe it'll look like. Anyway. So there might be some little tweaks and twists. This is also a low res version. This is 720p. The final will be in crystal clear 1080p, not 4K. I'm not going crazy, but yeah, 1080p will be that. So, in addition, I want to just share a couple random things. I am obsessed with G-Flip. I don't know, I literally discovered them like yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday that I discovered G-Flip. And I the way I was introduced to them was that I heard I was watching something, I can't remember, might have been Red Bar, and he's being such a dick, and he like hates people that are not heteronormative. So he was complaining about this celebrity who has this new partner who's called G-Flip. And out of curiosity, I just Googled G-Flip and took a listen. It's so good. So G-Flip is a non-binary person and is a drummer and a really good singer, really good drummer from Australia. And they fucking kick ass. I'm not gonna play the whole song. I don't want this to be like a reaction channel. But just listen to this little snippet.
And I want you to be happy, 'cause that's what you deserve. If you want me to be unhappy, well that just fucking hurts. You used to call me baby, come over. Now I'm the worst person alive. Those nights we couldn't get any closer. Now when I see you, I don't even say hi. Goddamn, it rips me up inside. Last year I was the love of your life. Now I'm the worst person alive.
Oh man, just that chorus is great. Everything about this is great. The lyrics are a little angsty teenager, a bit, but God, man, they hit. They work. So, big recommendation to anybody is G-Flip. Worst Person Alive was the first track I heard. I loved it. I've been listening to it many times. Be Your Man, also really, really good. It's more of a ballad. It's a ballad love song, but it's so good. Just the production's so good. Chad Tymeyer, welcome. Solid drums. My sister dragged me to a live show last Friday night. The opening act had no drums or bass. Oh Lord, it was just like a Bob Dylan kind of. Yeah, it's like if we're gonna see live music, don't cheat us out of the thud. Like that's one of the whole main reasons you go to live music. Boom, boom, so you can feel the bass drum in your chest. Welcome, Chad. Welcome. Good to see you. So yeah, I recommend G-Flip, and just show a little bit of this. Just the production is so cool. the groove here.
It ain't true. I see you out with them other boys. That ain't you. Your eyes give off secrets. I'm no fool. I'm stupid for you. But that's nothing, no. It's obvious the way you're hurting. What made you think that you deserve it? Caught between what you think is right and what you want. I understand.
So good. I don't want to play it on the stream though. I want everyone to go enjoy it at your leisure. But man, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just loving it. So G-Flip is my new friend. Okay, the other thing I really love is the Elephant Graveyard. I'm sure this is the Joe Rogan one's been going around a lot. What was it? Yeah, Burn the Boats is a funeral for Joe Rogan's comedy career. And I've been loving all of his videos. The Joe Rogan one's great. There's other ones about like shitty comics are very good too. But this dude also, his earlier videos are kind of different. Like he doesn't narrate them. It's just all told through the clips, through the sound bites. And he's a masterful editor. It's just the most incredible editing I've ever seen. So like this Brendan Schaub one, right? Let's just look a little snippet of it. He's taking tons and tons of footage, but he's color.
Start to figure out. I was like, oh, this person sold tickets because they're famous.
Let's turn it down. So like, he's color matching and color correcting everything and stylizing everything in a really cool way, which I technically have the tools to do. I don't know how to do any of that at all, but I technically, if I learned how, I could do that because the program I use. Oh, so cool. And he mixes in footage of different movies and stuff and just tells a fucking story because it's all just clips of stuff. So Elephant Graveyard was a big influence on what this opening intro turned out to be. And thank you, Chad. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. It was a lot of work, but I was so fascinated with it that it was just fun. It was just really fun. And I don't usually have a lot of fun working on DaVinci Resolve. So this was the first time I was like, not the first time, but I just really getting into the flow of it. So I'm learning a lot of little tricks and stuff about how it works. The Jimmy Dore episode was so weird. Yeah. Talk about that, man. Okay, talk about going to a comedy show where Alex Jones shows up to rant about his delusions. That literally happened with oh, I'm fucking forgetting his name. The comedian, blah blah blah. Maybe it'll come to my mind. But that happened where the guy invited Alex Jones on stage, like as a bit, and because he knew Alex was fucking psycho, and he just thought it would be so funny to watch him bomb on stage and like introduce him. Oh, who is that? His name is on the tip of my tongue. Doug Stanhope. Doug Stanhope gets Alex Jones up on stage. Yeah, that was an early Knowledge Fight episode. But yeah, this is a completely different situation than Jimmy Dore. Because imagine if Doug Stanhope was like, hey, everybody, this is a really cool guy, Alex, who everything he says is right. And I don't give a fuck because I'm audience captured. And like knowing Stanhope and the kind of shit that he talked about, it would be as if he was like an evangelical Christian talking about purity and abstinence. And you'd be like, what the fuck happened to Doug Stanhope? He's like an evangelical vegan Christian now, and he preaches against smoking. What? That's not the same guy. Now, I don't think that Jimmy actually changed a whole lot. I don't think Jimmy was ever good. And I think he was just riding the left-wing thing just as easily as he's riding the right-wing thing. He's entirely dependent on his surroundings, and I think he's very, very easily swayed. Alex is supposed to be doing a comedy set. Yeah. Yeah, and supposedly, you said Dora was more like, now we're done with the laughs. Yeah, be serious, everybody. Oh, their jokes are so bad. They're not even jokes. They're not even jokes. It's just like, what a dumb dummy. They're so dumb. Yeah. Like, I don't make up jokes either. Like, occasionally a legit joke will come to me where I'm like, yeah, that has the structure of a joke, where you lead the audience down one train, and then at the very last second you flip it, and then there's a clever turn there. They're not like super easy to come up with. They only come to me very rarely. And like, I think comedians sort of don't think that they have to do that. They're like, no, I don't need to do that. Like, I just have to say like a funny thing in a funny way. I mean, some of these comedy specials are just offensively bad, like boring. Not offensive because they said naughty slurs in it like they love to do. They literally think that's all that takes to make them edgy. Is like, I'll just say some slurs, some ableist slurs, some transphobic slurs, and then now I'm edgy. Check. And now I'll just say things in a funny way. Like, I'll just say dumb shit in a funny voice. And that's good enough for comedy somehow. Like, what? Fucking Stephen Wright, fucking Mitch Hedberg. Like, these guys craft jokes. They craft a fucking lot of them. And they boom, boom, boom. They hit you. They zig you. They zag you. Every which way. That's what I love. I don't like a guy who just thinks he's the funniest guy in the world, staying up there and just saying shit in a screaming, funny, dumb shit. Did you see Andrew Santino? Like, I don't know. I actually used to kind of enjoy his podcast with Bobby Lee, but I never really heard him do stand-up. He is dog shit. Dog shit. And he had a crowd that was laughing, but it's like, it's just his fucking fans. He is absolute dog shit. It was the worst. I mean, it was as bad as Rogan's, which was pure dog shit too. It sucks. Alex is always just so desperate, and it's just so sad. Yep. And when he's sad, we are happy. Because fuck that guy, right? So what's the plan today? So here's the deal. Maybe we should look at what we have so far. Because that intro that we've seen here, and if you're just joining and you want to see the intro, you can scroll back in the stream, I think. And then you can cut back to the present again. But that's going to basically fade out to the opening shot. Let's open our project called Network. I've never seen a Joe Rogan stand-up until that video you were showing earlier. And oh boy, pure dog shit. Yep. He used to be pretty good. Kind of. And like, we all changed, right? So what I should say is I used to find him pretty good. As a comic, I was like, I like this guy. But then I also hated him for his moon. So he was a big moon landing denier. He became pretty much the most prominent one because he sort of got roped in by the main like conspiracy guy, the guy who got punched by what's his ass. Anyway, so But then he kind of like had this whole turnaround, right? He had this sort of enlightening thing where he learned about the fallacies that he was following, and he came around and was like, I was wrong. I have to be a lot carefuler about that. And he just fell back into the same, thank you, Buzz Aldrin. He fell back into the same habit because he got too overly confident. So he is still like a pig-headed kind of thing, but he still sort of has this like layer of humility that he gives lip service to that I believed at the time was genuine, right? I liked it. And I admired him for his ability to like, you know, change his mind, right? So this is the only bit, I'm not even gonna play the video, we'll just listen to it. This was one bit that I particularly enjoyed and I remembered.
The real problem is, most of us are idiots.
Oh yeah,
We just
he's
like to
younger.
think we're not idiots because we use a bunch of shit that smart people have figured out. But how many of us understand any of that shit? Think about the technological level that this world operates on. How many of us really understand that? What if everybody out there died and we had to take over the world? How well you think we'd do? Yeah, terrific. We would do awesome. Yeah. Does anybody know how any of this shit works?
So, first of all, good premise. I like the premise. And again, I think he still sort of thinks like this, but he is completely mistaken as to who they are and who we are. Notice when he says, we are all idiots, they are all really smart. Like, no. You all are really smart. I am an idiot. That's how he should have been. Or you know, or frame it in a different way, because it's not clear who the they is. And I think, like, he thinks that some dumbass, like, who's really polite and nice to him can say the fucking whatever and act smart, and Joe's gonna be like, this guy is super smart. And an actual, literal professional person who knows their own field can be a little rude to Joe, and he's going to be like, you're a fucking idiot, right? So he has no way of like determining the smartness or correctness or vetting any kind of source at all. That's not one of his skills. Yep, exactly. Within a few years, he'll be telling the experts that he knows more about it. Yeah, so this was like a fall from grace. But at the time that this came out, I appreciated this. And I liked it. And I liked what's coming up. I'm going to keep playing it.
Why is that loud? Any idea? I've been a comedian for 16 fucking years. I have no idea what's in there. I don't know, some loud shit? I don't know. What makes that bright? Bright shit? I don't know. Think about all the stuff you need to run your life. Computers and Palm Pilots and cell phones. How many of you know how to make any of that shit? I mean, if I left you alone in the woods with a hatchet, how long before you could send me an email? We are not smart.
Yeah, that was the line I liked. Was, if I sent you into the woods with a hatchet, how long before you could send me an email? All right. So here's what we have. And here's where I'll try to articulate my problem, and then maybe through doing that, I will either get some advice. Oh, by the way, Chad, we have a Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, I'm gonna put another link in there. If you're not on Discord, totally fine. It's a thing it's a program you would download. We are smart though. Yeah, so that's the thing. When he says we're stupid, like he's somehow assuming that anyone who's like actually smart is an outsider or whatever. And it's like, yeah, he's just off the mark. But at the time, I was too generous with him. You're old. You don't know much about Discord. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. I only wanted to put you out there. So Discord is a series of servers, and once you have a server, it's kind of like just this little online little club where you don't have to log into it. You're sort of accepted as a thing. And so on the left side here, these are all these different servers. So this is my server, and I have little things. Put some pictures up that if you join the server you can do. Anyway, you don't need to actually download the software. It is possible to do it through a browser. But don't worry about it. If you're not into it, if you don't already do Discord, then it's no sweat. It's just another little avenue that I'll have to sort of keep in touch with people. Discord. It's also discordant. As in, most people get very confused when they first open it and start trying to use it. So if you do a Discord, if you want to do the first one, you should join mine, because it's going to be very, very small and very informal, and it's not going to be a big problem. Mailman Chad. Well, that was fast. Unless you're a different mailman named Chad than the one who just said that you don't know anything about Discord. I was literally just talking about how, like, it's okay if you don't want to do it. That was quick. All right. So anyway, this part of my problem is I'm trying to put off this problem right here, which is this is all my audio. Okay? This is me kind of in progress of trying to do this monologue, but I'm not happy with the faces or the heads. I am happy with the backgrounds, kind of, but I want to figure out how to color grade them. But that'll come at the end. That'll come after. The first thing I need to do is actually lay these out. And it's been a hard bunch. It's like there's 50 million different ways I could do it, or could approach it, and can't decide which one I want to do. Right? So right now I've got Alex's head as a separate photo, and then I have the body and the foreground as another photo, and then I got the background. I don't think this is the best way to do it. The more and more I put this off for a month, the more I think, well, fucking just do it all in Krita, or basically just have full still shots of the whole background and everything, and don't do layers down here. So instead of these three, this layer, this layer, this layer, I would just have one, right? And then these other layers on top would for the subtitles. But I get whatever it is, like the sunk cost fallacy. A lot of times when I put a lot of work and time into a thing, I'm like, you have to keep it because you did that work. And if you don't use it and keep it, then what did you do that work for? And it's a little bit silly. I should just redo it to where I'm not going to get fucking paralyzed. And I just don't like how it looks. I don't like this head. Like, that doesn't... It's distractingly bad. Like, I want it to look funny and silly, but I don't know. We'll think about it. So what's the task for tonight? I think I need to just organize a lot of stuff. Also, I need some angles I need to lay out Dan and Jordan talking before this.
He was in these boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Network. And then I need a visual for the movie Network. Need some kind of a visual thing or something. Veronica, welcome. You made it. Welcome. It's going to be... I don't know. I think I might do a longish stream tonight. We'll see. Oh, I got to tell you about kitty cat drama. Oh my goodness. So I've got 4 cats. On stream, if you've watched a lot of streams, you've definitely seen 3 of them. You've seen Don Gato, you've seen Brain, you've seen Peppercorn. But Little Kitty is a little more of a rare sight, okay? And Little Kitty happens to be the mother of Brain and Peppercorn. She's fine, she's alive, but there's just drama between the cats as family members. Family drama. So Little Kitty is the mother, right? And she was a very good mother, a very attentive mother for the first few weeks. Until, the first weaning times. Once the kitty cats grew up, she had a very sudden turn. It was just one day, she was mama cat, protective. The next day, she didn't want to fucking have anything to do with these motherfuckers. This is her right here. Well, we moved houses since that time, and all 4 of the cats were in the house. You know, they go in and out. We live in this very kind of nice sort of gated off like forest thing. So they just sort of roam in and out as they please. And there's no cars or roads around us. So anyway, that's kind of their thing. It's like the mom has kind of always disliked her kids a little bit. She just stays away from them. They didn't fight really. And occasionally they'd all 4 be on the bed together sleeping, but she's always off to the side. Well, in the last couple months, it's kind of ramping up how much the kid, specifically Peppercorn, is bullying her mother. Or I don't know, she's not really seemingly doing anything threatening, but she's just running after her. And as soon as Little Kitty sees her daughter running for her, she turns tail and runs. And so lately, like, Peppercorn's been like a security guard, driving out her mother, like keeping her away. Like, her mother only comes in to eat. And now that's even getting difficult because she can't, like, she'll come in and want to eat, but then she'll see Peppercorn and Peppercorn will run in for her. And she'll fuck off. And the only way she's been able to come in and eat has been like to sort of trick Peppers or wait till she's sleeping or something. And just quietly sneak in and eat something. So Mama Cat is like afraid of her daughter. I don't really know if it's Peppercorn's fault, but it kind of is. Peppercorn bullying her mother. Exactly. So she is pretty wild. And today I heard them, they were in a screaming match. I heard cat full on. And Don Gatos was sleeping in my lap or on my kind of like on my arms. And when he heard that, he jolted up and was like, "God, go, get out." I think he was trying to save Little Kitty. Like, cause he and Little Kitty go back to before she had kittens. So they're pretty good friends. But Little Kitty is basically never around, and it's because she hates Peppercorn, and it's because Peppercorn is a freak. Is just being a weirdo. So, yeah, that's the deal. Peppercorn's a weirdo. Yeah. She did eat, like, so she did eat tonight, but it was like her second attempt. She had to like wait until Peppercorn. She is pretty good at evading Peppercorn. I think Little Kitty is a lot more street smart. Okay. So buttons. I'm just gonna. I've learned from a great content creator called Very Tall Bart that you have to just fucking forget about the sunk cost fallacy. I'm not happy with it. I'm just gonna, and it's too complicated and it's paralyzing me. I'm just gonna delete it.
That's what we traffic in.
Mr. Beal, am I happy with this? If you want to create emojis for your live streams, you could be one is Peppercorn is a freak. It's a peppercorn drawing. Yeah, I don't have enough peppercorn drawings. She's a challenge. She's just challenging in terms of her patterns. I should, though. I have lots of pictures of her. That's an interesting thing about emojis, because I actually don't know how to do that. I know how to create GIFs. How do I create emojis? Because that would be cool. Make an emoji for the kitty cats. Speaking of that, I was trying to get the kitty cat cam going. What's the deal with this camera? On OBS, it's just not coming up. I don't know. I'm gonna have to would probably have to restart it, but then I would kill the stream. Let's not worry about it for now. You might need memberships. You'd be happy to pay. Oh, thank you very much. I don't really want to get in. Yeah, I mean that. We'll see how it goes. I do like keeping this in the realm of hobby. I don't ever want to rely on this for money, you know. I've probably mentioned this before. I have a day job, which is teaching English, and I really, really enjoy my day job. I like it a lot. It's the kind of job I would still probably do if I didn't need to work. I just have conversations and help people and correct their grammar, which is a sort of kind of a guilty pleasure if you think about it. Like, you know how you just want to correct somebody? And it's generally not appropriate to do so when it's unwanted. But these are all wanted, right? So I just get to hang out, meet people, talk to them, help them out, with what they need. And I generally just enjoy it very much, and it's great work. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. Tips are fine. It's cool, but for now, I'm happy to just let everyone sort of just enjoy a money-free space, you know, where I can just help them out with anything. Veronica, if you want, there's a Discord now. So if you're a Discord person, you can get on that, and I will be sharing. I'll have just extra things there, stuff we can share. Let you guys share stuff, and then we can talk and share ideas. And you know, if you think of something, but I'm like not streaming at all, you can go into Discord and give me, you know, throw something down, and you know, yeah. It might streamline a lot of idea of exchanging. So that's the Discord. Be sure to check it out. I made GIFs. Yeah, a lot of the GIFs that I make in the process of making the video, I export them out as GIFs. Ooh, yeah, I could put them in there. I have a Giphy website, which I think I have a link to these on most of my videos. But yeah, if anyone also wants GIFs from any of the episodes that I've put up here. Got a few of the good ones. Perfect. Veronica is in. Awesome. This is great. And if I think Chad said it's his never did Discord before. This is perfect one for Discord because it's a nice small server where you don't have to worry about like tons and tons of people like filling up. Like if the knowledge fight one, it's just too much. There's so many channels, and you click on one of these channels, and it's like all these people just like saying these little bits of conversation, and you have to go all the way up to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's going on? Huh? So it's not great for browsing. But this one, it's tiny. Rules, general, non-knowledge fight, works in progress, pictures, teasers. I haven't put anything here because I have like a upload limit. So I'm gonna have to figure out. But if I have like a teaser, like a trailer, or if I make a sample of something that it's not ready to release, I'll put that there. Maybe I should make a channel, just general. So in general, I could just say put ideas or anything here. If we want in the future, I can sort of organize it better. Yeah, if you want to put since it reaches me, should I make a channel that's like, I just don't want to have too many different like specialized channels. So like, oh my God, put that somewhere else. The channels are mostly for like when I will put something. Basically, if you write in any one of these, any of them, if you just like comment on something, then I'll get a notification of it. So yeah, you can just do that. Also, you guys can get on the voice channel if you want. If you have something to talk about, or if you have like an idea that it's easier to describe by speaking aloud rather than that. Okay, I don't like this title, Forces of Nature, Mr. Beale part, how I laid it out. It's close, but I just got this weird like bobbing head animation that I was trying to do. I spent so much time with this. I do like this close angle. That's kind of like not from the movie. The movie has like 3 different angles. Besides this one, it's got this long, wide view, slightly closer in, and then slightly closer in, like moved a little bit. And then it has this sort of close up. But I wanted it even more close up. So that's when I went with this one. With the lights in front. I do like that. I don't know. It's not lined up very well. He does that U is way longer than it needs to be.
Mr. Beale.
It's also a very awkward amount of space before he does it. Like, you know, he's sort of like thinking like, how does that speech go? And he remembers that you have meddled with well, he says tidal forces, but I think in the original it's primal forces.
Is that clear? You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Beale, and I won't have it.
And I won't have it. And this I was kind of studying the scene to see like how often they break this shot or cut away from this shot to show the guy's face. And I don't know, I still haven't decided who is going to be this person reacting, because at some point it is Alex. But do I want it to be Alex the whole time? So it's Alex talking to Alex, or is it someone else who morphs into Alex? Yeah, I don't know. He's stretching it on purpose to buy time while he thinks of the words. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's an awkwardly amount of, you have meddled. He's like, you have meddled. And he gets so much of it wrong because then once he goes down quiet, he knows that he like gets quieter and kind of talks fluently. So he's like, did I have your attention there, Mr. Beale? This isn't a business deal, Mr. Beale. Like, Alex repeats Mr. Beale way more than this guy does.
There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West. There is only one holistic system of systems. One vast and immane, interwoven, interacting, multivariate, multinational dominion of dollars.
Yeah, Alex couldn't get all that. It's too good. Multifaceted, multivariate dominion of dollars. I wonder how much they've been feeding lines to him in his ear also. Even Alex talking to Alex in the animation. Have it be Alex talking to Alex. Yeah, because if you look at this angle, this is the establishing shot angle that I kind of cut out because I decided I didn't want him to go in there first. But you can only see this person like in the dark, like profile face. So it could be anybody. It's just like a face, right? So one thing that's true though too is I have all these different style of faces that were drawn in different generations that I sort of going back and forth of. So maybe this reaction Alex should sort of be one flavor of faces, and the monologue Alex could be a different flavor. So it's two Alexes, but it's like the two different versions maybe. Ooh, yeah. Speaking of this, of what the crew and what they're doing during this. So I have two different versions of Alex in front of a camera. There's him in his imagination, along with Dan and Jordan, that are on a film set in like the fucking 50s or whatever. When was this movie out? The 70s. But then here's the InfoWars studio, which you saw a glimpse of it in the intro. But yeah, this is what I got. I don't know. I'm not actually gonna draw like actual InfoWars people. They're just gonna be little blank people. We'll see that. Ariana Frisk, hello, welcome. Thanks for coming to the stream. We are kind of brainstorming, spitballing, talking, saying hello, and all of that. Welcome to the stream. He has to deal with them in his ear. He messed it up and he storms off. Oh, man. I don't know. Should I do another part of the desk here? Or just draw like another guy here, standing here with like papers? I don't know. You like the red studio? Yeah, thank you. I figured it would be red. And sometimes I get caught up in a lot of little details, because basically it's like I'll finish work and I'll have like, oh, this podcast or a thing I can either not look at all or just barely have to look at. And then I sit down and draw something. So I was like, I want to draw a movie camera, so I got a reference and traced it. I was like, oh, there's so many more details, but I still did a lot of details on this. That completely not necessary, but I kind of makes me happy. It just like, I like having like a really sloppy, non-realistic thing next to like a slightly more realistic thing. There's something about this sort of vibe aesthetic. I think it's probably obvious in most of my videos. It's like I'll just get a weird bug up my ass. I'll be like, this one thing has to look photorealistic, or it has to have like the perfect proportions, or it has to have the right details. And then other shit, I'm just like, fuck it, a hand, an arm, like it's literally nothing. Like it doesn't matter. Just. And I don't know. Some of that makes me happy. Hatchets or guns? Yes. Thank you. That's a great idea. Hatchets, yeah, like a hatchet stuck in the wall, like because he'd thrown it. Like, yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's write some of this down. And by the way, to new people, Ariana, if you're still here. Suggestions are very welcome. I love suggestions. I love all your ideas, and I will take them and hopefully credit you if I remember. Hatchets in the wall, guns laying about, probably a whiskey bottle. I mean, we have the apple juice. Maybe a couple more apple juice bottles. More apple juice bottles. So like empties. Like a pile of empties. Maybe I could sneak that in the corner there. Or like behind him. Oh, also, what's a cool thing, if you notice this, I have Alex here and then Alex in the monitor. I'm actually using a thing on Krita called a clone mask. So it's a clone. If I go through here and animate this head, it perfectly matches the animation in the monitor automatically. It's fucking awesome. So I could do more of that. You could have him on like 3 different TVs or something, because then you can take the clone, and while it'll take all the transformations or anything you do to it, but you can also independently transform the clone. So if you notice, the perspective's a little different. It's not the same side-ish view. It's more front on. So I thought that was pretty cool. Baby mask. I don't remember baby mask. What is that? Yeah. I do like sharing information about things I learn especially with these programs. Do any of you do any digital art? Do you guys use this program yourselves? Because I'm happy to talk more about my because Krita is very customizable. You can sort of set it up exactly how you'd like it. It took a long time. I think like many people, the first day I got the software, I like hated it and was like going back to the other thing I was using until I could get the handle of like what everything was. But yeah, it's called a clone mask. Baby mask is a deep cut, but around COVID, remember Owen choked him out wearing a baby mask? Is it a mask of a baby, or like an N95 meant to be worn by a baby? Baby mask. Yeah. Maybe a skull. He had a skull on his desk. I do remember something like that. I never watched. So I remember just it being like a thing I heard about. He's like, oh, he has this thing on his desk. What does he keep calling it? He calls it like he uses some word. Does he say it's totemistic? No, that was from Spinal Tap. He had a funny word that he was trying to describe like objects, and it's basically he was just saying that they're metaphors, like a metaphor, but then he had a word for like, but it was nonsensical. Happy Death Day. Internet's going slow. We'll see. Okay. Well, anyway, we have Alex's studio. We also have a studio which is in Hollywood. Happy Death Day. Oh, okay. A mask of a baby, of a freakishly cartoon big ass baby. Huh. Interesting. And he was choking. There's that Alex. I don't know if people would get it. Maybe it's not a good suggestion. Yeah, who knows? We'll see. They are good suggestions, even if we don't use them. Okay, so here I have him in his tux with his drink, right? So these are good. These are usable. And I think I've even already exported them. So here's, this is why I'm like, I get paralyzed with being unorganized. Is that because I name things differently, I don't know how to like find where I've exported already to. Maybe sometimes it sort of saves it here. Film set, sidearm boom guy, NT backgrounds. Okay. So it's probably in that folder. But unfortunately, this NT back thing was like a sort of junk drawer of a folder that has a million fucking things. It has 190 items. And I'm not sure what they all are and if I need all of them anymore. I may have to throw some of them out. Yeah, like all the pictures with Alex with no head. I'm just not going to use those. I'm going to do it differently. So I should just start deleting those. So here's the thing. Like the cameraman reaction, we got that. It's just a couple frames, right? It's just going to be him. He's looking in the camera and then he like, And then like looks around, something like that. And then we have the boom mic operator. And it's really hard to see because it's small, but I'm sorry. But anyway, this is fine. Okay, so we're going through a sort of a mental checklist of what do I need to do / redo. And then we have this. Okay, so this we got to redo. test blur scene. Yeah, I don't want this. It's blurry. I was testing out, I guess, to like blur the background when I have Dan and Jordan in the foreground. But Alex is not in the right clothes because I decided later to change that. So let's delete those. Because I still have all the original Critifiles to re-export all of this stuff very easily. So this is more headless Alex. We're going to get rid of those. So anything that's Alex without a head or Alex not in his correct clothes, I'm just going to delete them. And that'll actually help me. Because then everything won't be so cluttered with bullshit. Right? I think that's going to help me. Now, I sort of half listened to part of the new episode this morning, but I decided I'd rather just listen to it tonight during the stream. So these are all going to get deleted because this Alex is not in his tuxedo or his suit. Okay, we will re-export those. Okay, so this is Bordeaux. Okay, this is stuff that I am keeping that's already in the video. It's the boardrooms in LA, the boardrooms in New York, and the boardrooms in DC. I've been in them all. Tucker alert. What do you mean by that? Like, Tucker Carlson is in the chat? Better not be. You better not be, Tucker. You better get the fuck away from me right now before I start whooping your ass. I'm gonna whoop you in the ass. So here's the background. What we need is to actually open up that one that I just closed. Today's episode is a Tucker alert. Was Tucker in it? I barely listened to it. I don't even remember. Tucker Carlson, you best get up off of my podcasts. I don't like you being on my favorite podcasts. All right. So I have a background. I have another background that I want to be a film set. So, and that's a whole group, a whole big group. It's gonna maybe be a big thing, but let's try it. We're gonna add a transform mask. And now we can transform this big ass group and kind of squish it down and sort of figure out our angles. And the angle is kind of weird. Dare I redraw this whole thing? Dare I? I don't know if I dare. It looked kind of fucked up before, but it sort of worked. Let's try it like this. You used to call me baby, come over. Now I'm the worst person alive. All right, so maybe I could just sort of erase a little bit of that. Like there or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So let's throw the episode on. Throw on the episode. I'm gonna do a little something for my head that will help me kind of relax, and we'll focus on this. I got kitty cats all over me. I got 2 of them on the desk right now. And Don Gato's, he loves to just lay on my hands. So a lot of times I'm sort of stuck in place. And that is going on. Well, anyway, happy Friday, everybody. Let's listen to the podcast. And we'll see how it goes. And also, feel free to chat in the Discord. I will sort of see that, or I'll get a little thing. If you have a link or a picture or something, or if the stream dies and goes offline and you still want to say something, we can always use the Discord.
Knowledge fight. Dan and Jordan, I am sweating. KnowledgeFight.com. It's time to pray.
I have great respect for Knowledge Fight.
Knowledge fight. I'm sick of them posing as if they're the good guys, saying we are the bad guys. Knowledge fight.
Dan and Jordan. Knowledge.
It's time to pray. Andy in Kansas, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I'm a huge fan. I love your work.
Knowledge Fight.
KnowledgeFight.com. I love you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Knowledge Fight. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
We're a couple dudes like to sit around, worship at the altar of Selene, and talk a little bit about Alex Jones.
Oh, indeed we are, Dan.
Jordan.
Dan!
Jordan.
Quick question for you.
What's up?
What's your bright spot today, buddy?
My bright spot today, I wanted to have an episode on Wednesday. I wanted to do a Wednesday episode. We had a little bit of HVAC issue in the studio.
Yeah.
And thankfully it was not a big deal. It was not like a huge... Like, I thought maybe we would have to tear down a wall or something for a leak of some sort, but it turned out to be a minor issue. So that in and of itself is a bright spot.
That is great.
Something looking like a huge pain in the ass that becomes like a minor issue, great.
The moment that I moved into a place that my wife owned that was not landlord repair-based, I freak out anytime. The toilet's clogged.
The stakes are so high for you.
Exactly.
You might have to figure out how a toilet works.
I might have to call somebody else.
Yeah. So that could be a bright spot in and of itself, but a little more fun. I've been watching a bunch of movies, trying to recapture the magic of cinema for myself, and I saw Knives Out, and I loved it.
It's great.
I love a silly accent.
Yep.
I just want to talk like Benoit Blanc all the time.
Oh, it's so great. It's a terrible accent. It's so great. It is like, every take on Poirot, every take on Poirot's accent is distinct from the others, which is what makes the accent fun. Yeah.
It's very Belgian.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that. I like a mystery. I'm enjoying it. Anyway,
who are your top characters in Knives Out? Their rankings.
I expected to not like Chris Evans much because he's a recognizable face.
Sure, he's Captain America.
Yeah. So I expected him to stick out more as Captain America, but I enjoyed him within the texture of the ensemble.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just everybody was doing their damn job. That's what I felt. Like everyone.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Almost
like
no
that.
one stuck out, but they were all they all felt like they were working together.
Yeah.
And it did take me a minute to be like, is that fucking Don Johnson? Wait a second. What the fuck is going on here? And then I learned, yes, it is Don Johnson.
It is always an interesting Don Johnson appearance. Yeah. Who's his daughter is a thing, right? Is she Madam Webb? Is that
no.
Don Johnson's daughter?
Oh, yes. Not in the movie, but in real life, yes.
Yes.
Dakota
not
Johnson.
Madam Webb is not actually Don Johnson, although that'd be great. Yeah, that's a plot twist.
Madam Webb is not in Knives Out.
Right.
But Don Johnson's real-life daughter played Madam Webb.
Yes, gotcha. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I found that out, and I was like blown away because it's so crazy to see like the children of famous people become movie stars. That's nuts. Never happens.
Yeah, there's no nepotism.
No.
So what's your bright spot?
My bright spot is Star Wars Outlaws.
Sure.
It is awesome.
Newly released.
Oh, man. I told you on Monday, I went from being like, oh, I should check to see when that, because I've been looking forward to it. And I was
There's
like,
a lot of buzz around it.
yeah, I'll check to see when it comes out. And it was like, it comes out Friday. And I was like, hell yeah. And then it was like, hey, you want to spend an extra $30 and get it tomorrow? And I was like, of course I do.
That's not a fair question.
No, that's not fair. You're just stealing $30 from me.
Yeah. So you're running around planets?
It's you know what's great? Being Han Solo.
You described it as like Assassin's Creed, but kind of in space.
Yeah. It's a little, I mean, gameplay-wise, it's that. Story-wise, it really is like, hey, you know that whole good versus evil morality plays with space wizards? What if you were just cool and did whatever you want? And it turns out that's a lot of fun.
There's no space wizards?
Not that I'm aware of. Haven't met a space wizard yet. It's just me walking around with my blaster, solving problems.
Does anyone have a lightsaber?
Nope, haven't seen one yet.
Wow.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing. It's completely different to the way that I normally play these types of games. Because I'm usually like a stealth, and then I have to like go and get each individual thing and do the whole thing, and then I have to be gone with nobody ever seeing me. That's
you like
my
that
thing.
sort of ninja vibe.
Yeah, but now that I'm a Han Solo, half the fun is being like, they caught us as you're leaving and getting away while they're chasing you.
Sure.
It is awesome.
Yeah, getting a hasty retreat.
Yeah, I love getting the thing that I want and then starting to go and then causing a problem and then getting on my speeder and going away. It's the best.
Sure.
It is the best.
So, anyway, glad you're enjoying that.
That's my review. It's fun to be Han Solo.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we got an episode to go over today. We're going to be talking about the 27th. This is a big day.
Okay.
Tucker Carlson's on.
Oh.
So we'll talk about that.
Wait, Tucker Carlson was on InfoWars and like nobody even talked about it.
They're mostly promoting his live dates. Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't that big of a deal.
This world is
Tucker
fucking
was on InfoWars.
Moved on.
Yep. So we'll get down to business on this and see how that all played out. But first, let's say a little hello to some new walks.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
So, oh god. So first, Wallacey Punk, the Jollacy Yonk, Dollacy Yonk, the Yallacy Dank, Pellacy Rank, the Rellacy Pank, and Willacy Pank, the Pillacy Wank. Thank you, some
policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Nour. Foch may have no heroes, but you, Eliza. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Might have been newer. I apologize.
Yeah.
Princess Louis Dupont Dulac. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much. But you get a little stink on that.
Dupont. I took French.
I don't know.
And thank you, Magic Trash Can. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we got a technical credit in the mix, Jordan. So thank you so much to You People Are My People, and I love you more than Alex loves Andy. Thank you so much. You're now Technocrat.
I'm a policy wonk.
4 stars. Go home to your mother and tell her you're brilliant.
Someone sodomite sent me a bucket of poop.
Daddy Shark. Jar Jar Binks has a Caribbean black accent. He's a loser little kitty baby. I don't want to hate black people. I renounce Jesus Christ.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you want to get your shout out, make sure you email knowledgefight@gmail.com.
Just toss that over there, and Jordan will put you on a list.
Yeah, we got one front page. We got,
Sweet.
just letting people know.
I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to do an episode on Wednesday.
Sure.
And I think part of that was because we did Jimmy Dore on Monday, and it just felt kind of half.
It was
half
sour
show, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get back to Alex, but then the 27th happened, and Tucker's on. So you stop the presses.
Sure.
We don't need to recap shit.
Nope.
We just got to get into this. He's the most important man in the world.
Of course.
And so here we go. We're going to jump in.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Alex Jones. We are 69 days to the most important election in world history, and we have a massive broadcast lined up for you here today. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. All right, Tucker Carlson is joining us in the third hour to cover all the incredible. Ivan Raiklin has been involved in an ongoing cover-up of President Trump. He's got a lot of the latest information in the inside scoop. There's 100% a stand down and an ongoing cover up, never a press conference, never anything about the murder weapon or the attempted murder weapon. Nothing about how the patsy got his body cremated. It's insane. They want us to forget about that.
And Pennsylvania State Police did hold a press conference on the day of the attempted assassination. I was saying there's no press conferences.
No, they did, yeah.
Biden spoke that day and again the day after. The day after the shooting, the Secret Service, FBI, and Milwaukee law enforcement held a joint press conference to address the shooting as well as security concerns for the RNC. You can find all these videos really easily. All of them are on C-SPAN. Alex is just pretending none of this exists because lying about it is much easier as a way to make this narrative work. So that's fun.
Yeah, it feels like if anybody is covering it up or at least not playing it hard enough, it is Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if it was me doing this, I'm running the campaign and I'm just like, buddy, somebody tried to kill you because you're so dangerous, etc. We're playing everything is also a result of them trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying?
Look.
Like, do you know why they got Harris? Because they couldn't kill me, so they had to do that. Because she's just another option for trying to kill me. You know, like everything is because they couldn't kill me.
Yeah, I think that it's good that he's not doing that.
No, I agree.
But if I were running for president and someone shot at me, I mean, it would be a situation where who knows what the fuck I'm going to do.
Right.
We're in uncharted territory. I'm probably going to go crazy and basically start yelling the shit you're talking about.
Why not? Absolutely. What are we? Oh no, we're gonna run on policy. That's really what we're doing.
They shot at me.
Him. Yes, exactly. What are you talking about? Oh, we're gonna increase tax. Shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, JD Vance is weird.
Yeah.
Is he?
You're goddamn right. He is. Shoot at him. Like what? It would be nonstop from me.
It does seem so. Digital collector's cards.
Yeah, it does seem strange.
Almost like it's all scam shit.
Always has been.
So Mark Zuckerberg wrote a little bit of a letter.
Sure.
I don't know if you heard about this.
I did.
Alex has too.
Wow. Zuckerberg comes out yesterday and says, okay, you caught me because members of the administration have been lying. And Biden's been lying, and Kamala's been lying, and Mayorkas has been lying, and the Attorney General's been lying. This year and last year in those weaponization hearings, weaponization of the censorship hearings, weaponization of the media hearings. And so Zuckerberg, though, I guess doesn't want to perjure himself, so he wrote a letter yesterday saying, okay, yes, I was pressured. I did censor for the election. I election meddled. He also spent $450-something million to categorize all the names of dead people or folks that have moved out of district and gave them to illegal aliens and others to vote and stuff the ballot boxes and the drop boxes. So that's ultra massive.
Wow. So Zuckerberg didn't say that stuff in the letter.
It seems it would be wild for him to admit to committing several, if not multiple,
the government.
multiple felonies in a letter to a sitting congressman would be an interesting choice.
So he just said that the Biden administration pressured them to remove content that would be dangerous around COVID and that he would resist those kinds of pressures in the future. This raises an interesting point because legitimately nothing in the letter that Zuckerberg wrote is news. But I think it's the first time that we have this big CEO expressing personally that he felt pressured by the requests made by the government. And this is where things are kind of murky. Like, is it okay for a government entity to make requests that you can feel pressured to acquiesce to if you're the head of a big company? I would reframe this question and ask, is it even possible for a government entity to make a request of a big CEO that can never be experienced as applying pressure? That is to say, is implied or subtle pressure always a part of government communication? And I think the answer to that question is yes, which is why it's important as an individual to know your rights when you're dealing with law enforcement. In the same way, by communicating with the government, Zuckerberg has put himself in a position where there's just gonna be a feeling of pressure, and it's his responsibility to navigate that. Once the government is mandating what he must do, then it's far closer to coercion, and that's a totally different conversation. But if requests are understood to be pressure, I think that might be a natural and unavoidable part of communication between government and business. And in his letter, Zuckerberg even says, quote, ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. He felt pressure, but there's no indication from his letter that the government acted in any coercive way. If I were Zuckerberg, I think I would feel constantly a little worried about pressure coming from the government, considering all the, accusations of antitrust type activity and monopolistic practices.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I would shit in the government's mouth pretty much nonstop. I would shit in Biden's fucking mouth.
I can understand why you would have an approach of some hubris, but I would also think that the only thing that is potentially stopping you from being able to exercise your business exactly how you want to is theoretical government oversight.
Right.
So I would be a little bit worried about that if I were him.
I mean, I think what's great about this is there's going to be an awesome test case for why he should continue shitting in the government's mouth. And it's that Google is now illegal and they're not going to do anything about it.
He's written this letter to Jim Jordan, too, which is a little bit of a tell.
Yeah.
So Alex is really going to have to lie to make this letter fit his narratives because it's a bit of an uncomfortable crossroad. Before that letter was published, Zuckerberg was the evilest of evil globalists who wanted to fist fight Elon Musk and who spent his own money to make databases to steal the election for Trump. In order for this letter to actually work the way Alex wants it to, he's got to make so many more confessions than he actually does in the letter. As it stands, it just kind of is saying that Zuckerberg's like, I'm a weak leader for a media platform. I'm super concerned about my public image.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, that's more what it feels like. Which is, again, it's like, man, what's the point of being so super rich if you have to write a letter like that to Jim Jordan? What are you doing, man?
It does ruin the fun a little bit.
Go somewhere and just be rich as shit, and don't do anything that makes you write a letter to Jim Jordan.
Right.
You have all the choices in the world.
And Alex can't do stuff that's like, oh no, Zuckerberg is coming clean. Like, you pretended to go to Hawaii to find his compound.
Exactly.
Where the locals are going to murder him when the shit goes down.
Exactly.
Calm down, man.
If that's what I'm saying. If you are Zuckerberg, be the guy with the compound.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Governor Abbott has made some news out of Texas because he has announced that he's kicked a bunch of people off the voter rolls.
Great.
That's Alex talks about that here.
It's just the level of lying when you think they can't turn up the lies anymore, when the lies backfire on them, when the lies don't work anymore, their answer is just get even crazier. And they've caught all these millions of illegal aliens signed up and dead people to vote. Just in Texas alone, a bunch of other states found the same thing and just expunged them off the rolls. And the Democrats are going into total conniption fits, filing lawsuits to keep the illegal aliens and dead people on the voter rolls. I mean, you can't make that up. Just in Texas alone, Governor Greg Abbott removes over 1 million ineligible voters, including nearly 500,000 dead people and illegal aliens. I mean, wow.
So recently, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that they had removed approximately 1 million ineligible voters from the Texas rolls. In the real world, this is something that happens kind of regularly. Every state has a process in place to routinely trim the rolls, but it's obviously not a perfect system, and generally folks that care about civil liberties agree that it's best to err on the side of not restricting voting access. Making sure that everyone's on the roll who is a fully qualified voter, that's a process that would take an almost comical amount of time and organization, and the funding and infrastructure doesn't really exist to handle that on the state level. So in the case of Texas, they have processes like sending notices to potentially dead voters or voters who have moved and not updated their registration location. It takes multiple times not hearing back to justify kicking someone off the rolls, which is good, but it's also kind of inefficient. The Democrats aren't suing Abbott. He's being sued by civil liberties groups that argue that his purge of the rolls is illegal because it's unclear what standards his office used to make the cuts and because it's a federal crime to remove voters from the rolls within 90 days of an election. This is a provision that's important because if it weren't there, it would be super easy for a state to widely disenfranchise particular groups of people by erroneously kicking them off voter rolls close to an election so they wouldn't have the time to sort it out before it was time to vote. Or more simply, you could just create more administrative hurdles to suppress voter turnout this way.
Yeah.
For instance, in this case, over 6,500 alleged non-citizens were kicked off the voter rolls, but no basis was given for determining these non-citizens. It's very possible that some of these people are people who, they have a right to vote and they've been misidentified, so they're having their votes deprived by this. Mm-hmm. That's very possible.
Yep.
Texas did this in 2019 when their Secretary of State's office flagged 95,000 registered voters as being ineligible. As that number was examined closer, it was discovered that these people were almost all mistakenly flagged. In one county, the elections administrator had been sent a list of 8,035 people who, quote-unquote, shouldn't be on the rolls, and the Texas Tribune reported that he ended up finding 2 non-citizens in the bunch, both of whom marked that they were not citizens on their registrations, but who had accidentally been added to the rolls by the, office side of things.
Sure.
Was not their fault.
Right. They just chose everybody with the last name Garcia for some reason.
Weird
no
reason.
idea. What crazy.
This was a big scandal, and Secretary of State David Whitley had to resign when it all came to light because of how
it's illegal,
glaring this was.
Yeah.
This kind of action is generally not motivated by a need to clean up the voter rolls. This kind of push to get people off the voter rolls.
Yeah.
It's a political move to push illegal voting narratives, and it's also a voter intimidation tactic primarily aimed at naturalized citizens who can vote but couldn't at some point when they lived in the country. So, they may have answered, I'm not a citizen, to a past time they filled out a form. It's very easy to get a lot of these people sort of swept up when you're not careful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of doing this.
If I was going to make a bet, right, I would say that if they made it so everybody could vote, no registration required, and you could vote as many times as you wanted, nobody was going to ask any questions. 95% of the people in this country would do the exact same thing they're doing right now. We'd have about 45% show up to vote, but there would be a weird 2% that voted 7,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who we are as a people.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
That would be a weird thought experiment. It'd be a weird. I wonder.
Honestly, it would lead to
Elections-
more democratic outcomes.
I think probably it would skew that way.
Yeah.
So if you understand what Alex is talking about in the correct context, the story he's covering is about how he supports voter suppression efforts and wants to demonize civil liberty groups who are trying to protect access to voting, which is nuts. That's not what he's supposed to believe, but that's where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, I don't know how to remember the Alamo quite as well as kicking non-white people off of your ballot in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess so. So we go to a little Trump interview that Alex plays a clip of. And it's spoiler alert. It's him talking about how maybe you put Elon Musk in the cabinet. And,
great.
And
great.
You can hear Alex in the background very obsessively yelling out about how many views Trump and Elon's interview got.
So here's Trump. The election will be the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of our country. No, I agree. Because it's our country goes the wrong way in this election, I think we're doomed. And then he goes on here to talk about AI and a bunch of other key subjects, and I'm going to give you my take on that. Here's clip 1.
I read that Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So
if
Elon
you
and
chose
I
him?
have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. And we have to cherish our geniuses. We don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. And what he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. And he loves the country. It's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day.
He loves the country.
You would know
just
better than
hates
me,
the
but I hear
workers.
it had hundreds of millions of people. I heard it had the biggest audience.
It's over
that
a
there's
billion,
ever been.
Trump.
I mean, would you say
for
that's a
God's
correct
sakes.
statement?
I would absolutely say
There's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I mean, numbers that are crazy. And
unbelievable numbers.
A billion plus clicked on it.
Yeah, he wants to be involved. Now, look, he's running big businesses and all that.
But hundreds of
yeah,
millions watched the whole thing.
They could be for cabinet. I'd put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. But he can sort of, as the expression goes, consult with the country.
As the expression goes. So yeah, I like that Alex is just his preoccupation. He needs to butt in. Billion!
Yeesh.
Because that's what's important to him, his views and attention. But
Can Trump hear him?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they're telepathically connected, if you believe Alex.
That is helpful.
I do think that we are dangerously close to the potential for creating a real team of shitheads. Like, you got Trump and Vance.
Yep.
And then in the cabinet, you got RFK Jr.
Hey,
you got Elon Musk. Maybe Ivan Reichlin is the Secretary of Retribution.
Hey, listen, we earned it.
I don't think that they would make those choices, but it's bleak.
It's just so funny reading an article now from anybody that's just like, oh, this is Harris's first big test, and you're like, no. Nope. The test was 2016, and the test was failed, and now you're failing it again. This has nothing to do with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that Trump would make Elon Musk the Secretary of State?
First test.
Failed.
Okay.
So, Trump has failed a little bit of test on Alex's part, too, as far as Alex is concerned. And that is that he likes nuclear power. And Alex likes coal because we have clean coal.
Sure.
And so Alex complains about that. And I think that this clip is a really good snapshot of his feelings about Trump.
Okay.
But nuclear is very powerful, very good.
Nope.
The wind doesn't work. It's very expensive, kills the birds, destroys everything around it. It's very, 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 very bad. It's the most expensive energy, wind. And then every 9 years you have to replace the turbines. You know, they're made out of steel and they wear out. But we will.
It sounds like me in my English classes. No? Uh-huh. That's right. She's like correcting grammar, pronunciation. No? That's right.
Create tremendous electricity for our company, for our country, and that will allow AI to compete. And you're right. Whoever gets that, it's going to be a big advantage. You know, that's going to be sort of the oil of the future. And we have to be the main player.
And there's not enough in every study currently for all the electric cars. So you've got to have more electricity for that. They want to ration it from us and give it to AI. Not a good idea. We need coal. We need it now. We got thousands of years of it just here. Now let's go to Trump on free speech. I totally agree with this.
We don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country.
So that clip, I think, really sums up Alex's relationship with Trump. He doesn't like what he actually says a lot of the time because Trump's positions on a bunch of shit should be deal breakers for him. When Trump talks, you run the risk of him saying things like, we need to move away from coal and use nuclear power to fuel the AI arms race with China, which Alex should oppose on so many levels.
On every level.
Yeah. There shouldn't be an AI arms race, and Alex loves coal. Climate change is a hoax, and we need to burn more coal, so why isn't Trump saying that?
Right?
It's all bullshit.
This is insane.
Yeah. On the flip side, Alex really loves edited packages of Trump over swelling music, where someone with a knack for marketing has spliced together Trump saying exciting things about free speech. This is the Trump that Alex supports, whereas the real person is just kind of a frustration.
Yeah.
Like, you hear him and you're like, nope.
Yeah.
Not nuclear, coal.
Yeah, it is a little bit like I genuinely don't care what a candidate is, what their name is, what their policy positions are. If I hear an interview with them saying, like, I am going to kill Jordan Holmes's dog, that's the deal breaker for me. The end. No more conversation. You know?
Well,
you can't kill my dog.
I think that's a little selfish.
It is selfish, and that's how I'm going to live.
Okay.
You can't kill my dog.
You're a single-issue voter.
I'm a single-issue voter.
Your dog.
Fanny lives forever.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Harris has yet to speak out on this issue.
I mean, if she goes the wrong way, she's lost a vote.
I know that Tim Walz wouldn't kill your dog.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we got Ivan Reichlin coming in, future Secretary of Retribution and overall weirdo.
Right.
And so Alex introduces him.
Okay.
This is absolutely huge. At Ivan Reichlin on X, Reichlin.com. He's a former Green Beret, lieutenant colonel, recovering lawyer, ultramarathoner, operating at the intersection between national security, startups, politics, and law. And they've got a big conference coming up that's not just a congressional hearing, to focus on the folks that are at the hearings.
Maybe we should draw a view from behind Alex. It'd be the lights on top. Alex would be, would just be a silhouette, right? Now, I guess if lights were shining in at you, the crew would look really dark. What does that look like? I don't know. Anyway, I could get a shot from behind, and then we could see other stuff that Alex has under the desk. Right? That's where he could put the guns, I don't know, ice, maybe an ice cooler. Needs to freshen up his glass with ice. That might be an idea.
The J13 Forum, 8/26/24, 12 p.m. Eastern live stream. We'll be talking about that.
So as Alex has been hyping up Reichland being on the show, he's been saying that he's involved with congressional hearings. As it turns out, this actually is about a live stream about Trump's attempted assassination that was held on the 26th by the Heritage Foundation, featuring Eric Prince, Dan Bongino, and Matt Gaetz.
Right.
It was more or less a publicity stunt kind of thing, and Ivan wasn't even a panelist on that. But he is the Secretary of Retribution, so it makes sense that he'd be here with Alex as a representative. I mean, in terms of retribution matters, an assassination attempt is pretty high up there.
It seems
that is
pretty...
where retribution comes in.
Yeah.
So he's the person to talk to.
Yeah. I mean... Eric Prince being in on that list makes me feel feudal, and I mean that in like the feudal lord sense of like, oh, this is the leader of the this is Game of Thrones shit. Like, oh, the Second Son's company is also being led by Eric Prince, and so he's got a fucking thing with the Game of Thrones. Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
I sent a raven to Peter Thiel. And he's,
absolutely.
I'm waiting on a reply.
100%. Yes.
Ugh.
What are we doing?
So, they're investigating Trump's assassination attempt in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
They're doing that.
Right, because, I mean...
that's fake.
Do they need to?
I think someone should ask some questions.
Well, no, for sure. Yeah.
But the real investigation is fake.
Right.
The fake investigation, which is this Heritage Foundation publicity stunt.
Right.
That's the real investigation.
Okay, I like it.
It showcased to the American public and to inform the Republican conference that Speaker Johnson had appointed these other Rhino individuals to perform the official investigation of July 13th. Meanwhile, practically none of those people on that committee have any experience in looking into this, and they were selected by design. I'm of the opinion, Alex, that they were appointed by Mike Johnson at the direction of Paul Ryan so that they wouldn't identify and implicate Paul Ryan's potential involvement in this op, if you will, because the timing of it is so suspect.
It's so suspect.
I'm sorry?
Paul Ryan apparently tried to kill Trump? I don't know.
The timing of it would be suspect if we were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that, whatever that was.
Yeah, I was
now
shocked.
The timing is not suspect for Paul Ryan.
I was pretty shocked to hear Paul Ryan's name.
Yeah, that one's...
Yeah. So apparently he is applying undue pressure on Mike Johnson to make a fake investigation into the assassination attempt because they don't want those threads to be pulled that would implicate Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan. Sure.
Paul Rhino.
That's what I mean. Like, is that it? When was the last time you even heard Paul Ryan's name mentioned in a sentence that's important?
It's been quite a while.
It's been a while. And now he's killed Trump, so maybe or he tried. So maybe that's the motive.
It's quite a rebrand. From really boring vice presidential candidate to
that would be
Trump assassination
that
organizer.
Would be a hell of a rebrand. Yeah. Yep.
So I think Ivan might just be a little bit nuts.
Could be.
We laughed quite a bit on the last time he was on because he offered amnesty.
Yeah, it was very kind of him. Again.
He set, I think, an early September date as the cutoff for amnesty.
Which makes sense. You can't just let it be forever. Yeah.
I mean, you have to be fair, but also...
There's
stern.
a cutoff date.
Yeah. So he, I think, believes that Mark Zuckerberg wrote his letter in order to get in the window.
Ooh, I like it. I like that.
What's his name? Fake book. when he came out with that comment yesterday. He's basically begging for mercy. He's begging for amnesty. And now I did a call out saying that September 3rd is your last day for amnesty if you're going to come out as a whistleblower. It doesn't apply to the principals on my deep state target list. Mark Zuckerberg is the principal on that list, which means even though he is apologizing for his genocidal participation with his censorship, he's not going to get amnesty. If I have anything to do it, which I will as long as I'm alive, I am going to guarantee maximum consequences for Zuckerberg's involvement in censoring speech that ended up killing and murdering tens of thousands at a minimum.
So I bet Zuckerberg feels real stupid hearing that.
Yeah, yep. He gave it his best shot, and now to find out
No
later
amnesty?
on, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That's
But
like
you
finding out that you're a Nazi scientist and you're not invited to America.
It's the fine print.
Yeah.
It's the fine print. Zuckerberg didn't pay attention to the fine print of the amnesty offer.
It was the goddamn licensing agreements. Every time he just clicks, I agree. Ah!
There is something about this Ivan that is fun in a, like, he's just living his dream.
Yeah.
And then the second part is he has this, like, fake book. And constantly calls the FBI FB lies.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
It's a little bit much.
It is. I like a little zinger. I like to get it in.
He's a showman.
Yep.
So RFK endorsed Trump.
Sure.
And this is a big deal, according to Alex and the future Secretary of Retribution.
Okay.
In the time we have left, how big? Because it's bigger than I thought it would be. I thought it would be huge. I was given the inside intel, broke it last Tuesday.
Yeah. I also like coming up with little zingers for sticking it to corporations, you know? Like I call Wells Fargo Wells Fucko. Ha ha ha, take that. They're shaking in their boots, they are. And instead of Coca-Cola, I call it Coca-Cola. More like Coca-Cola, right? Although I do purchase that product, and I do enjoy that product, and I am sponsored by that product, but that's neither here nor there. It's Coca-Cola. I already got your money. Oh boy. Does anyone else have any cheeky nicknames for corporations that you hate? That you make up a new name for it? Put them in the chat. Fake book. That's kind of lame. What about facefuck? I've called it that. Get off facefuck and touch grass. Instagram, more like Insta bland. Insta bland. Fucking X, more like break up with and stop calling your ex. X, that's hard. It's hard to make fun of that one. Maybe Elon was onto something. Because no one's gonna make up a cheeky nickname like they do with space sex. Space sex? Is that what it's called, Elon? Haha. Space sex. Or instead of Tesla, more like fuckla. What's a Tesla one? Tesla, testy, testo. Testy. My testy Tesla. I don't know. There's got to be some other good ones. I can't think of many corporations. What are the corporations I hate? Obviously, car corporations. Found on road dead Ford. You remember that one? GMC, more like grandma's miscarriage. Yeah, we're just having fun here. Toshiba, more like Toshita. More like Toshitty. This Toshiba's turned out to be a piece of shit. What other stuff? All right, we'll put those in the chat when you think of it.
But how big was this RFK and now Tulsi Gabbard's endorsement? I'm seeing an exodus now because a lot of Democrats know that they're destroying their future supporting Kamala. This gives them kind of the cover politically to publicly speak out for Trump. I mean, I'm seeing an explosion of even more interest, and even mainline analysts, the Democrat Republican Party, like Frank Luntz, say this just gives it to Trump. We shouldn't be overconfident and confident because obviously they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeves, but this was big.
No, I saw that you broke it, and I'm glad that you did because it gave me a little bit more time to kind of analyze this. If you look at the timeline from last weekend to Monday, or over the weekend, on Friday is when the endorsement took place, and you saw the crowd in Arizona. They went absolutely nuts. I've never seen or heard such a ovation of support when RFK came on stage, other than obviously for President Trump.
Good save. So RFK endorsing Trump is a big deal, and it's a big deal in exactly and only the way Ivan is expressing it. This endorsement makes RFK very popular among Trump fans, but doesn't do much else. His favorability among Republicans jumped 17% because they wanted to like him already, but they weren't allowed to because he was Trump's enemy. I just don't know what kind of demographic voting for Trump, but then RFK endorsed him and that flipped them. This is a big win for RFK in that he expands his potential audience, particularly to a crowd addicted to strongman leader worship. But in terms of the election, this feels like a zero.
There's another story of him cutting an animal's head off and putting it on something.
But I missed this one.
I think it was a shark now. I think there's a story about him cutting a shark's head off and putting it on a boat. Like this is I don't even know what to tell you. And furthermore, how do you, this is the dog thing.
Was it a bit?
Probably.
Okay, because if it was a bit, I'm going to allow it.
I don't know. I don't even know. But the thing is, right, I still just don't get the like, okay, and now I'm going to endorse him. Your narrative is he murdered millions upon millions of people. This is, you can't murder my dog. I will stop. I won't vote for you.
Right.
And I understand the political blah, blah, blah. I won't vote.
Operation Warp Speed should be equivalent to your dog.
Yeah.
And they act like it, but, you know, I don't think it's sincere.
No. How is that possible? How can you believe that they murdered 20 million people and then also be like, well, we got to give them another go?
I don't know. It's baffling.
Yeah.
But if you're RFK, this is exactly what you should be doing.
Totally.
Like, I understand
you
that
should
from
not
a
be
brand
abusing
standpoint.
animals.
I don't know the full story of this shark thing, so I don't want to comment on it.
I don't want to comment any further on it either.
So Alex says farewell to the future secretary and decides to take some calls before Tucker shows up.
Okay.
And so he wants to take calls mostly on Zuckerberg.
Sure.
And shit.
Zuckerbuck.
We're going to take first-time callers again today. And let's just put 10 on the board because the call system will take 20-plus calls. Let's get 10 calls on the board. That way everybody gets on air and interspersed with the news. 10 callers we're going to take on this subject. We're opening the phones up right now. Election 2024. Zuckerberg coming out and saying, yeah, they told me to censor and manipulate the election. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie. You got me. I decided to meddle with the election. It's so interesting to phrase it this way. That's the way you're going. It's just it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's not going to live up to your expectations.
No.
You already have Musk. You don't need another. You don't need another tech billionaire guy social media platform.
Also, by any possible metric you have internally, if he says he's not going to lie, that is meaningless. You think he's a liar.
Based on the character that you have presented me with up till this point,
yeah,
I should not trust him saying I've been lying.
You're saying that he's a liar, right? So why would you trust him now?
Seems foolish.
It seems insane.
So there's still some, I don't think Alex actually gets that many calls. I'm starting to think that maybe Spaces might be a tactical decision, going to those as opposed to going to calls.
Yeah.
Because you got to kill some time.
Sure.
And why not? Tucker's going to be coming on. Let's listen to a clip of Tucker talking to Glenn Beck.
Great.
And they're globalist. And they're out to get us. They've dissolved our borders. So here's Tucker asking the most important question.
Look at what's happening over in Europe with their illegal problem or their refugees. and how the governments over there are responding to the people. And you see, it's exactly the same problems. It's exactly the same laws, the same responses, the same media response. And then you know that Joe Biden is incapable. Who the hell has been the president? Who is running this country?
Well, and what you're seeing around the world is really not around the world. It's just in traditionally Christian countries.
Yes.
It's in the West. Yes. It's in Christendom. It's not happening in Asia. It's not happening in Singapore. It's not happening in Lagos, Nigeria. It's not happening, of course, in China or Japan. These are still ethno-states. No one contests their right to be that. But it's happening in the historic...
I can't fucking stand Tucker at all. He sucks. He sucks so fucking bad. He's so awful. His goddamn voice. It's the most punchable voice I've ever heard.
Homeland of Christianity from refugee
I don't care what he's
agencies.
saying.
I think this is a spiritual war between demons and angels. Now, I have no evidence of that, but that's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
You should be laughed out of the public conversation.
Yeah, it shouldn't be allowed.
Right. If someone was making this argument in favor of something that I was like pro for, I would think like this is a bad way to make that argument, man. Looks bad.
Okay. Did we ever get full on like I apologize and I resign letters from every person who wrote a Glenn Beck has changed thing?
No.
Never?
No, but we've gotten over this.
Not one?
This is we've I think Glenn Beck's gone through like 3 cycles since then.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think this should be allowed.
No.
Now he's the guy who's letting Tucker on his show say he wants an ethno state.
And it's a holy mandate.
And it's a holy mandate.
Sure. Yeah. And let's not like just gloss over the fact that this is Alex Jones playing a clip of Glenn Beck and Tucker Carlson.
God. What
people
is
that
this?
he presumably Glenn Beck is a ripoff of him who the CIA was trying to set up to like disempower Alex as an entity.
Yep.
And Tucker Carlson's a bow tie wearing
rhino thing.
Head.
Yeah. Strange Bedfellows doesn't even begin to cover it.
Nope. So Alex and a caller, they get to talking about how they're soldiers for God, but really for Trump.
That's not good.
And
that's not good.
If Trump doesn't win the election, they will use force to seize the infrastructure.
That's not good.
Hey, look at how God put his finger on the scale and turned Trump's head. Exactly. If we just pray to God.
God is going to use Trump. Trump's given us all these comms, man. Just the other day, what did he say about deputizing hundreds of thousands? That gentleman's talking about UN troops. Look at our army that we have in this country if we needed to activate it, meaning all of us. You know what I mean?
And that's right. And then we'll have governors and attorney generals and the president on our side, and we will just simply go into the power plants and go into the corporate facilities that the globalists have seized, and we will just remove them legally and lawfully.
God's going to move his mighty hand here shortly, Alex. I think we all know that. All of us believers.
You can feel it. I think the hand's already moving. The dam's already. Eddie Bravo and I and Rogan were on the phone the other night, and Eddie was like, "Is the dam breaking?" And I said, "Eddie, the dam already broke."
Yeah.
It burned to the ground.
Yeah, noted stupid person Eddie Bravo and I were talking the other day. That's pretty blunt.
Yep. I mean, yeah.
If we cannot take power through legitimate means, our militias and a bunch of weirdos will take over infrastructure and seize it from the globalists.
Yeah, I do appreciate a good removing of the veneer of democracy and returning to the truth of extortion. Yeah.
Well, but like, hey, dum-dum, isn't this what you tried to do on January 6th?
Yeah.
Like,
that's exactly what they tried to do on January 6th.
And the people who did it were arrested because they were the militias.
You didn't have enough guys.
They left their guns over at the other side of the lake.
Yeah, they chunked it.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just very direct. I feel like if you're listening to this and you can't really, I'm not saying that they're going to do this.
Sure.
But they can't pretend this isn't what they're talking about.
Yeah. But I mean, that is kind of the interesting thing about January 6th having happened and Trump still being alive. It's like that's the subtext under everything. There's no reason to dispense with that as like, and not even subtext. That's the text. Like, if I don't get what I want, January 6th. And I'll tell you how I know that, because January 6th. You know, it's like, yeah.
But it'll probably be a little bit worse, at least.
I mean, or even more disappointing, it will be nothing. And it'll turn out that nobody actually wanted to do it.
Alex single-handedly takes over a power plant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We might be doing a Yukio Mishima. Why not? Fucking go for it.
I'm just upset with how pretty clear this is.
Yeah,
like in terms of the conversation.
Strategically, I would just throw this out there. Don't put it on the air.
Sure. I mean, it does, you know, that Matt Bracken talking about how we're going to storm the White House.
Not good.
I think that being recorded was tough. And this is kind of in that same territory.
Yeah.
So, Alex, Tucker, I think he is late or something. At one point, Alex is taking a call, and he just completely ignores the person and is like, oh, sorry, someone came into the studio and was telling me. I think they were saying that Tucker is running a little late or something, because he ends up just playing a bunch of clips about how Muslims are stabbing people everywhere.
Play music.
Yeah, it would have been better.
It would have been better.
And if you try to show this in England, they try to arrest you. Let's roll this video. For radio listeners, I will narrate it. Muslim man seen climbing into a woman's apartment. He ended up stabbing one of her guests. This is in Sweden. So it's so wonderful to see cultural enrichment in action, I wrote. In evil America, the woman might have had a gun to protect herself. In loving liberal Europe, we can thank the state. People are defenseless and cannot stop such wonderful things. Play it with audio.
Mohammed, du kommer inte upp här. Du kommer inte in I mitt hem.
So Alex said, I wrote, you know, like he's just recapping his racist tweets. That's basically what this segment of the show is.
Oh, no, he's reading racist tweets?
Conceivably, he posted himself. Or someone else posted from the Alex Jones Twitter account.
Right. So he's Doug Bensoning. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Except he's not high.
Maybe a better show.
So this video that Alex plays is from last May. 2023. And the attacker in this case has already been charged and sentenced to 2 years in prison for stabbing one man. Once he's served his prison time, he'll be deported and barred from ever re-entering Sweden. Alex is presenting this video as a migrant just randomly climbing in someone's window and attacking them, but there's more context here. This man was using a ladder to try to climb into his ex-girlfriend's home and attack her. The guy who got stabbed was a friend of hers who was trying to talk him down. This attacker was a danger to the people around him, but his status as a migrant has nothing to do with that. The issue here was one of domestic violence, but Alex is using this to depict some kind of random migrant crime wave, even though it's over a year old as a video and doesn't relate, really. This is a dude who's trying to incite hatred on racial and xenophobic lines.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you really want to, like, just let all of our labels go, let all of our stuff go, all of our things that we get, excited about go. I think a lot of our problems really just are domestic violence.
There's a lot of it. There is
just men being too allowed to be. Yeah.
There is a lot of problems that spring from that well.
Yep.
That is definitely true.
Yep.
So one of the problems that springs from all sorts of wells is Tucker Carlson.
Nice transition.
It was lazy.
I like it.
I don't think I landed it.
You had some swagger to it. I liked it.
I did lean.
You
backwards.
did. You got a little lean back. I liked it. You got a little fat Joe.
I was trying to oversell it. So Tucker comes around, and Alex gives him the most important man in the world type of introduction.
Sure.
Well, the #1 journalist in the world is our guest now, live on this Tuesday, August 22nd, 2024 transmission. Oh, he knows it's true. He's smiling, blushing. The mighty Tucker Carlson from his compound in beautiful mountains of Maine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he just came off that huge interview with RFK Jr. You can cut the excitement and suspense with a knife. The deep state is in total panic mode. We've only got him for a short time. Very gracious to pop in with us. Before we get into all the news, Tucker, you have got a string of super successful live podcast events with special guests across the country. I'm going to be with you what is it, the 23rd coming up in Pennsylvania. I was talking off air. You think that's going to be the biggest event. Tell us about the tour. I know it's already very successful. People go to tuckercarlson.com/events to get tickets. Also VIP events for meet and greet. I can't wait to be part of this. Thank you so much for including me.
Well, you're kind of the point of doing this whole tour revolves around you, and that's not flattery, it's sincere.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I would genuinely hope nobody were to reach out to the venue and let them know.
I don't know. I think, well, actually, I do know. I went to the venue's webpage, and they're aware that Alex is on that.
Oh, okay.
But it's the second time they tried to book Alex.
Right.
The other venue fell through.
I gotcha.
And so now they've rebooked something.
That makes sense.
And apparently, I guess this place is fine.
This place is fine with
Alex.
it. Gotcha.
So yeah, that was disturbing though. This tour, you are the point of this tour.
If there's ever been a level of flattery that should get you punched in the face, that is it.
Well, here's the I go so many directions with Tucker. I think that he is one of the most cynical fucking like insincere shits in the world.
Yeah, he's a true monster.
But then I also think he's pretty dumb, but not that dumb. I can't tell if like he's trying to manipulate Alex with that, or if that is couched in some sincere like place that he's coming from.
He's the type of dumb that knows enough to make you to get away with shit. You know, like. It's very easy to never actually learn things if people just assume that you know stuff. And so if you learn the stuff that makes people assume you know stuff, then you don't ever actually have to learn. So then you just get to say whatever you want.
This is good to learn.
Yeah.
So I was really worried.
Yeah.
When I hear Tucker say something like, "You're the point of this tour,"
right?
I'm like, I gotta. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Can
that's
you
a good
clarify
question.
on that? So he talks a little bit here.
The point of doing this whole tour revolves around you, and that's not flattery, it's sincere. By the way, being called the most powerful journalist in America, it really is like being the best caterer in the Central African Republic. I mean, it's such a disgusting business. I'm embarrassed even to be called a journalist. But no, the point is, and I'm always
being a caterer in the Central African Republic. So this is what he describes as a disgusting business. Being a caterer is what's going on? Is this war torn? I noticed he's been like he was saying specific like names of cities and places in Africa. He's like, what about Lagos, Nigeria? But I think he called it Lagos. Is it Lagos or Lagos? I don't know. So it is a poor country. It is among the 10 poorest countries in the world. All right. Being a caterer in the Central African Republic. Is that referencing something? Is he just fucking racist? It's like being the best caterer in the whole country. That's a crappy country. Well, even if a country is poor, they're still gonna have like a good caterer. That looks fucking good. Oh, what? Oh, it's because they eat bugs. That's what. Oh, it's because they fry bananas. He doesn't like weird stuff. So he's thinking like, oh my god, like whoever serves that food must fucking suck. And the best cook in this place is like worse than anybody. What a fucking racist piece of shit. Fuck you, Tucker.
amazed to be on your show because the FBI has been trying to shut you down for so long and you're still here. So that just shows the power of one man's determination to defeat the machine. God bless you for that. But you can't censor a live event. And I'll be honest, without getting into details, obviously you were like the first person I wanted to have on in one of these stadium shows. And finding a venue for that, for, you know, the disgrace, the dangerous, the terrifying Alex Jones, you know, whose main crime was predicting 9/11 in detail, can't have him, no profits allowed, it's hard to find a venue.
Yeah, no shit. Most places don't want to be associated with Alex, and it has nothing to do with how Tucker saw an edited clip of Alex pretending to predict 9/11 in detail, and now he thinks he's a prophet. If you're a venue, Alex is not worth the risk. He's a volatile drunk, his audience is not cool, and there's an unfortunately high chance that you might have to issue a statement after the show distancing yourself from what happened. If Tucker's version of freedom includes forcing venues to book shit like that, that seems dumb. And all I really hear here is like complaining that it's trying to pass off feelings of entitlement as free speech. And that's garbage. Also, Tucker's joke about the Central African Republic catering business, is that supposed to be a joke about the food being bad or the catering businesses there being corrupt? Or is it making fun of food insecurity? Like, I don't know what the point of that joke was.
I actually don't know what the joke is. Yeah.
It seems shitty, whatever it is.
I'm sure it's shitty.
It seems malicious.
And it's so weird because it's like, oh, man, I could really go for, like, I know 4 restaurants off the top of my head right now. I was like, oh, yeah, I could get some of that.
So... what you were jotting a note.
I am blown away. So I know how to lie. I can lie. That's fine. Lying, it's not complicated. We all do it. But generally, it's like what you do is you have the kernel of the truth and you just kind of wrap it around and oomph, you know, and you get it through, you get it across the line. I do not know how to bald-face say shit to Alex the way Tucker does.
That's the part.
It's amazing.
That's the part where I almost end up buying into his bullshit a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, there is a part of me that's like, you must have seen this video and you just accepted that Alex had this, like, prophetic... It's the same thing as, like, okay, if you're willing to say, I think this is a spiritual battle between demons and angels in the form of migration.
Yeah.
I have no evidence of this, but this is just what I believe to be true.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be that upfront about how little evidence you require of anything, then maybe you did just see this stupid edited video of Alex and you're like, oh my God, psychics are real.
Yeah.
Are you that dumb? Is it possible?
No. No, he's not.
It can't be.
Nope. It's just he has a true, like, I think, but I mean, I've known that from so many rich people that I've met throughout my life, is their ability to lie is unparalleled. And that's kind of usually how you get rich. It's like amazing.
It is.
It's terrifying.
It's in this case, it's right where I have the difficulty of finding my credulity.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't decide how stupid I think Tucker is.
No,
I know that there's a level of stupidity, and I know that there's a level of malicious manipulation that he's doing.
Right.
But I just can't figure out exactly where that line is.
Here's what you're going. I think I'm not going to say like I know 100%. I don't know Tucker. But from my experience with like the people who run like hearing aid companies and people who do all that stuff, right? The trick isn't that they're lying. It's that they don't think you're a person. So they can say whatever. It's like when you're talking to your dog, oh, you're such a cute little, you know, or like, oh, you're such a bad, you know, the dog can't understand you. So you can say whatever you want, right? It is very much that kind of similar style of like, I can't lie to a person who I believe is a person, but you, buddy, don't worry about it. You know, like I've seen. Oh my God, yeah. I don't even want to tell some of the stories.
That may be the way Tucker just operates.
Yeah, they're
I'm
just
not
crazy.
Sure. But there's a real like. It's impossible that he's fully just stupid.
Sure.
Because there are like just little moments where like that is definitely, you know what you're doing. This is manipulative.
It's hard to find a venue. You know, and we found one in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I just thought this is the whole point. This can't be censored. You know, Google does not have control of a live event yet. And so people who are wondering like, oh, I've heard Alex Jones is the most terrifying person since Idi Amin. Is he really? They can come and find out for themselves. And that's kind of the promise of America, is that we're citizens, we're not slaves, we're free men, and we get to hear and decide for ourselves.
That's a complete farce of a point.
Wow.
Tucker's not allowing his audience to see Alex and decide for themselves. He's selling them on him and promoting Alex as a prophet. Tucker wants to pretend that Alex is this entity that's so challenging to the system, and it's a revolutionary act for him to have him on the tour stop because that plays into Tucker's own self-image. He can pretend that the goal is to let the audience decide for themselves about Alex, but Tucker hasn't even looked any deeper than an edited clip to decide that Alex can see the future. Why doesn't Tucker look a little deeper and see for himself why people might not like Alex? Probably because to do so would jeopardize their ability to make a shitload of money playing this false iconoclast role. Also, I went to check out this event. The website tickets are still available. This
nice.
is not selling out quick. So that's fun.
That's such a good point that he's selling it. Like, that's why I immediately went to the hearing aids, because the hearing aid people, they're the people who are trying to, like, oh, you have a hearing loss, so let's try and help you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're the salesmen who are just like, I met so many people who are like, these hearing aids aren't working. And then I'd find out that the guy hadn't even turned them on, you know? And it's like, how could you be such a psychopath to sit there across from another human being and lie to their face for money?
Well,
and then
commission, baby.
Not even turn them on, man.
Commission.
It was insane to see
Commission's
these
the
people.
same whether you turn them on or not.
That's what I'm saying. That is exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's amoral, not immoral.
Yeah, that's what they want to believe.
Yeah, and I just think,
psychopaths tend to.
I think that when you are presenting things this way, you know what
you know, and it's like, how could you be
this event? The website tickets are still available. This
nice.
is not selling out quick. So that's fun.
That's such a good point that he's selling it. Like, that's why I immediately went to the hearing aids, because the hearing aid people, they're the people who are trying to, like, oh, you have a hearing loss, so let's try and help you. And then they're the salesmen who are just like, I met so many people who are like, these hearing aids aren't working. And then I'd find out that the guy hadn't even turned them on, you know? And it's like, how could you be such a psychopath to sit there across from another human being and lie to their face for money?
Well,
and then
commission, baby.
Not even turn them on, man.
Commission.
It was insane to see
Commission's
these
the
people.
same whether you turn them on or not.
That's what I'm saying. That is exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's amoral, not immoral.
Yeah, that's what they want to believe.
Yeah, and I just think,
psychopaths tend to.
I think that when you are presenting things this way, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you're not having Tim Walz on your show. You're not having him at one of your live dates.
No.
But you're having Kid Rock, and you're having J.D. Vance.
Sure.
So, like, you know what you're doing, you dumb shit. Don't
Oh my
fucking
God.
pretend that this is, I think everybody is entitled to see everybody and hear and make your own decisions. Is Alex so bad? No. You're the maestro, you're the ringmaster telling them that he isn't this bad.
Yeah. I wonder if there is anything with more potential to out AI conversation than J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson talking.
Oh, man.
Like, what could they even possibly say to each other?
You know what?
They'll just say non sequiturs back and forth, and people will be like, "Oh, what an interesting conversation." They don't talk like humans.
I just had a terrible idea.
What do you got?
Tickets are still available.
No, we're not going.
I'm not even saying going to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I'm saying following this thing around like the Grateful Dead.
All right. Well, oh man, it's hard
Do
to
you
say
think
no
we
to
could
that.
give up September?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it.
There's a really small part of me that actually wants to do this.
Generally, we're mobile. I
Yeah.
mean,
You have a car.
We're recording out of your office.
True.
All of our stuff fits within one suitcase, and I mean that including all the things we own.
All right, let's think about this.
Oh, God, we can't.
No.
But we can't not. Ugh.
You know, the thing that attracts me most to the idea of going to see the Tucker live
Yeah.
show is that there's no mediator. It's just like a live experience. You're just seeing thoughts.
And in a live event, there's no mediator. There's nobody there's no gatekeeper. There's no one to stop you from hearing. There's no one to twist the words into a storyline that's been, pre-approved by NSA and the Department of Homeland Security. It's just like you and the person. And I just love that. I love the idea, the immediacy of it and the unfiltered nature of it. So, yeah, I mean, I literally can't wait. And I bet you, and again, this is not flattery, but sincere, not one person will come away from that event in Reading, Pennsylvania at the end of next month thinking, oh, Alex Jones is as insane and dangerous as I was told. They're going to come away saying, actually, I agree with all of that. Why is this guy so bad? And then they're going to realize, oh, he's so bad because he's telling me things I kind of suspected were true. I mean, I was doing an interview yesterday with Bobby Kennedy really an amazing interview. And right in the middle of it, he's like, atrazine, it can change the sex of frogs. And he was on a roll, so I didn't want to interrupt him. I was like, I think Alex Jones made that point like 15 years ago and was mocked.
So when Tucker says that people will probably leave the show thinking that Alex isn't so bad and maybe the man just hates him because he speaks the truth, that's not because there's no mediator. It's because Tucker's the mediator, and that's the message he wants them to leave the show with. This is all just such a transparent charade, and you almost feel embarrassed for him trying to sell this shit.
Yeah.
Also, just because it's fun. In 2020, Trump's administration cut regulations around atrazine, making monitoring pollution of public waterways much more difficult. In 2021, when Biden got into office, his EPA put new rules in place to limit the amount of atrazine that can be used, including prohibiting its use aerially, and when rain is likely to cause runoff, when that's forecast within 48 hours, you weren't allowed. There was a regulation against that. If you're they're turning the frogs gay voter, then Biden is your guy, and Trump shouldn't be. Now, the right-wing Supreme Court that Trump put in place and Alex loves so much ruled overturning Chevron v. Natural Resources Defense Council that regulatory agencies like the EPA have way less authority to make rules and protect public shit like common waterways or the air from people who can make a few extra bucks by polluting.
Yeah.
The net result of that is going to be much more atrazine that is spilled into public waters.
Well, the good news is no one's even trying to solve that problem.
Especially not the people who are yelling about the frogs. Alex and Tucker are incoherent in their position here. If you want to have your fun with they're turning the frogs gay stuff, fine, do it. You just have to vote for Harris. And you also have to support packing the Supreme Court.
I mean, yeah, you have to support just so many things.
Yeah. If you don't, you're just talking shit.
Yeah.
And that's fun, but...
we're all just talking shit.
Kind of. Someone who's not talking shit anymore, though.
Yeah.
CEO of Telegram.
Oh, right. Well, he can't.
Yeah, he got arrested.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's complicated.
No, it's not.
It is fairly complicated.
Nope.
But it's not. We can talk about why you don't think it's complicated.
I get you.
But what is very uncomplicated is Alex and Tucker's version of the story.
Okay.
They have a bullshit version.
Okay.
When is someone going to call Alex Jones and be like, hey, Alex Jones, you were right about the frogs? Sorry?
Well, you're too kind, but already very successful. Already very successful events, selling out quickly. People go to tuckercarlson.com.
He starts talking about how he was in these boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Where he was in these boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then him talking about how he lived that scene and turns into he was in these boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then Alex does a line where he was in these boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then Alex does a line reading.
It's all in a movie.
Like in the big boardrooms in D.C., the big boardrooms in New York, the big boardrooms in Los Angeles. I've been in them all. When I say all those cities in the boardrooms. And, you get the
boardrooms. Okay. And then it turns into him talking about how he lived that scene in Network.
What?
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then Alex does a line reading.
It's all in a movie.
Like in the big boardrooms in D.C., the big boardrooms in New York, the big boardrooms in Los Angeles. I've been in them all. When I say all.
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then Alex does a line reading.
It's all in a movie.
Like in the big boardrooms in D.C., the big boardrooms in New York, the big boardroom.
Network.
What?
Where Ned Beatty is
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then Alex does a line reading.
It's all in a movie.
Like in the big boardrooms in D.C., the big boardrooms in New York, the big boardrooms in Los Angeles. I've been in them all. When I say all those cities in the boardrooms, and you get the little Howard Beale speech. Remember Howard Beale and Network? It's that speech. Think you just messed up a business deal, Mr. Beale? It's not a business deal, Mr. Beale. This is a church. This is a system, and you are a unit of this church. And Mr. Beale, in the final equation, we're going to destroy your soul. That's what we traffic in, Mr. Beale. You have meddled with the tidal forces of nature, Mr. Beale, and you must atone.
It's bad. All right. Let's keep going.
/events. They can find everything right there. And it really is an act of resistance to do this and to get out there in mass. And it's really overall about the campaign, I think, for free speech. Speaking of Elon Musk, we have, and I know you talked about this the last few days, the arrest of the head of Telegraph, which is even bigger globally right now than X, though X is growing, already bigger Facebook and Instagram.
Honestly. And it's a shame because they have a leg to stand on here without lying. They want to present the idea that Pavel Durov, the CEO of Telegram, was arrested because he wouldn't censor speech like other social media platforms. They allowed anti-vax stuff and bigotry, so Macron had to take them down. In the real world, Telegram refused to cooperate with, quote, multiple criminal cases in France tied to child sexual abuse, drug trafficking, and online hate crimes, according to reporting from the New York Times. The issue is that these crimes were facilitated by the platform of Telegram, and it appears that Durov has a pattern of being uncooperative with investigations into these crimes. This wouldn't be a huge issue if the communications on Telegram were all end-to-end encrypted, in which case Telegram wouldn't have access to the stuff that these investigators want. People think Telegram is all end-to-end encrypted, but it's not always. So Durov and his company have access to many things that could be requested by investigators. The question is whether or not this is something that you should be arrested for. If you create a social network and profit off its operation and people use it to plan and do crimes, are you beholden to help authorities solve those crimes if you're asked? At what point do you take on responsibility for enabling or covering up a crime by not providing requested information you have access to? I think that sane people can argue both sides of that, but I resent someone like Tucker or Alex just creating this fake version of the story to make it fit the grievance narratives that they profit off of. Like, I don't know. I think it is a little complex.
No, I understand.
In terms of should he have been arrested, right. I can see an argument for yes, and I can see an argument for no.
In a conversation wherein things make sense, I totally understand why there would be ambiguity here. Mm-hmm. In real life, if you start a social network, you should probably be arrested.
Oh. If that's the level that you're...
I mean...
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
If that is your bar, then yes, it is very not complicated.
I don't think social networks should exist at all. So, I mean, also, like, I get what you're saying, but how many people are in the position to be affected by this? Mm-hmm. All of them that I can think of probably deserve to go to jail for any number of, like Al Capone got a tax evasion thing. Like, I get it. I think tax evasion's wrong, but if you wanted to send people to jail for tax evasion, I would have more of a leg to stand on arguing against that for Al Capone than this asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I see this issue as being something that I understand why law enforcement agencies could feel like you're not turning over stuff to us that is essential and you have access to.
Sure.
And so I'm going to arrest you.
Right.
I can see that. On the other side, I can see how people would be like, this implicates free speech in a meaningful way on some sort of principle.
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I wish that was the conversation Alex is having.
I get it.
And it's not.
No, I read a couple of things, and I read somebody who very earnestly and stupidly, I was like, oh, this is worrying for you as well. And it's like, hey, come on, shut the fuck up. No one is worried because this asshole got arrested.
I'm not worried because he got arrested
beings
and
will be
I've
fine.
never used Telegram.
Yeah.
So but I get the free speech point.
Sure.
And I don't think that it's based in insanity.
Right.
I think Alex's version is based in insanity.
I don't think it's based in insanity. It's based in the concept of a world that does not exist.
That may be.
Yeah.
So Tucker tells the story of this CEO and how he left Russia. And this is a little bit complicated because Tucker has to be pro-Putin, you know?
Yeah, you can't be both, right?
He tries.
Okay.
So what's the definition of a dictatorship? The definition of a dictatorship is a government that arrests people for criticizing that government. So, keep in mind, Durov left Russia in 2014 because the Russian government demanded the IP addresses of people on the other side of the false flag, overthrow the Ukrainian government that the State Department affected over there, our State Department.
What?
And the Russians said, we want, their IP addresses. And Durov said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to give information on my users to the government. And so he left his own country, Russia.
So he's the good
Russia.
guy.
He is Russian. And he left because he thought the Putin government was too restrictive on the question of free speech.
Putin's
and
too
he moved ultimately to the United Arab Emirates in Dubai, where he lives now.
Which
and
is
he got
not a
French
dictatorship.
citizenship. But the irony is, 10 years later, he gets arrested by a so-called free country, France, at the behest of the Biden administration. There's no chance they did that without checking with the U.S. State Department and the National Security Council, the White House. They did that with the approval of the United States government, the Biden administration, and they arrest the guy for allowing ordinary people to say what they think.
So I'm noticing this little pattern with Tucker, which is just shit talk. This is a spiritual battle. I have no evidence. It's just what I want to believe.
Yeah.
There's no way they'd do this without the government, the U.S. government, and Biden. So therefore, it must be the case that is true. That's sloppy. He just does this all the time.
See, but if that was true, that's fucking worrying. Mm-hmm. If I was French and they was like, wait, you're just arresting this guy because Biden and the State Department said that you should, and you're making up this bullshit to do it? That's concerning.
That would be worrying.
Yeah.
I think I would be slightly less worried if they had a legitimate reason to arrest him because of the non-cooperation with these investigations.
Yep.
And they reached out a little, hey, bring, hey, U.S.
You guys
can
gonna
we
fuck
do
with
this?
us?
Yeah.
You guys gonna fuck with us?
Yeah. I don't think that's as worrying, although it's a little bit weird. But all of it is Tucker just guessing things.
Well, but even then, his point should be like, well, I support Russia having arrested him before he was born, or before Telegram was born.
Well, see, this is why it's complicated.
No,
because Putin's a good guy, but then he's also the antagonist of the story that leads to Pavel leaving Russia.
Okay, here's what happens a lot of the times. People say things are complicated because if they were not complicated, then they would have to just do the thing, right? So they complicate things that are not complicated. That way they can say things are complicated instead of just doing the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think that Tucker's attempt to live in this space in the middle of ideas is complicated.
It's complicated.
But I'm using that term in this case kind of sarcastically.
Right.
And
It's very complicated.
Yeah. Also, that's not the definition of a dictatorship.
I find it fascinating.
Also, Durov wasn't arrested for letting people post what they think. Your boomer grandpa in France isn't going to get arrested for posting a sick anti-immigrant meme. His company theoretically had information that would aid in the investigation into things like selling people, and they refused to cooperate with that investigation. The only thing I think that explains Tucker's actions and the way that he's misrepresenting things is malice.
Yeah.
I really think I watch him, and in addition to that, he's dumb, but he's not that dumb. He's crafty, but this isn't all crafty. He does believe some of this shit.
Right.
I also think he might be the angriest person in media.
I think that's possible, yeah.
When he laughs, it's angry.
It's cruel.
Yes.
He laughs like the way somebody that you've read about tortures dogs. Like, he's a cruel monster.
Almost everything in him, even expressions of joy, are dripping in resentment and anger. And I think it's he feels bad about his own career, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He tried to do the bow tie thing and got roundly mocked. He was out, just kept on the outside in those days. And he's never really been accepted as normal.
I think what is fascinating about Tucker, and I think part of what explains it, is that he is somehow incredibly wealthy, incredibly famous, and incredibly respected, or whatever it is. But he's never succeeded at anything. He's never himself done a thing. that succeeded. Everything that he's done fails.
Well, that's kind of not true, I think. But everything that he has to do must burn the old thing. Like when he got some sort of a mainstream foothold,
sure,
it was by almost making a joke and burning his crossfire.
Sure.
Jon Stewart made fun of him so badly with the bow tie that he had to essentially burn that down in order to have some sort of mainstream credibility. And then, you got his entire career being this neocon kind of persona. There's a lot of the Iraq War defense and stuff like that. In order to create this new persona that he has to burn down his the past thing that he created. So there has been some success, but it's at the expense of himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sense of like never, or maybe fail isn't quite the right word that I'm looking for. Maybe it's that nothing is his.
Yeah. Nothing feels organic.
Everything is something that he took from somewhere else. And because, the bow tie didn't work, well, I'll do that. Oh, that didn't work, or it worked for a while, well, now I'll do this. And it's like, he's not a person.
Right. I'm William F. Buckley. Oh, wait, no, I'm not.
What
John
does
Birch
he
Society.
celebrate about himself? I made this.
He interviewed Cat Turd.
Right? Like he's the guy who's supposed to be defending the people who make things. But he's never made anything. He doesn't make things. He just talks shit.
Yeah.
And he's rich.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. But he interviewed Cat Turd.
Cat Turd makes things. Cat Turd is a more valuable member of society than Tucker Carlson is.
It's arguable.
Yeah.
Also, I was just flashing back to earlier. He was like, I like that interview. It's just you and that person. Yeah, there's no moderator. And I'm just thinking about him and Putin.
Yeah.
It's just you and Putin.
Just you and Putin.
And the entire government hanging over you.
Yeah. Little moderation.
Just in that room, no moderation.
Just a little moderation.
So look, Tucker has a standard for whether or not you're in a dictatorship.
Right.
And he expresses it here.
Okay.
We really, I mean, this is a cliche, but it is because it's true. We are really the only free country left. We're the only country on the planet that guarantees free speech. And if we allow them to lecture us like Tim Walz, that creep, did the other day, free speech is not absolute. Well, actually it is, Tim Walz. And the definition of free speech is being able to call you a creep without being arrested. And when you take that away from me, this is a dictatorship. And I don't want my kids to live in a dictatorship. So I'm going to do whatever I can to oppose you.
Does he think that his right to call Tim Walz a creep is at jeopardy? Does he think that this is a risk, that we can't call Tim Walz a creep?
I'm concerned.
This is stupid.
I spend a lot of my time calling a large number of people creeps and various other things.
You can call people creeps if you want. That's fine, man. Are you okay? Also, I think that, free speech is not absolute. I think even free speech absolutists would probably argue that it's not.
Eventually, yeah.
Because you can't, use speech. There are criminal ways to use speech.
Yeah.
Extortion is just speech.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that you're going to get to somebody who's like a free speech absolutist because there are 3 words, right? And that's your issue. Sooner or later, you're going to be like, well, now we have to redefine free. Well, now we have to redefine speech. Well, now we have to redefine all of that. And there's just no point.
Right. This is just stupid.
Yeah. It's a waste of everybody's time.
It's stupid, the point that he's making, and it's stupid to pretend like, you can't call Tim Walz a creep. Go for it, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it is so weird that they're all so obsessed with not being able to say things when it's like the only things you're not allowed to say are the horrifying shit that is deep within your heart that you're not dealing with.
It does feel a little high school angsty.
Yeah.
And that's why this
Write
next clip...
a song!
That's why this next clip really, felt at home.
And I think we misunderstand why people become partisan Democrats. We know why they become conservatives. I want to think for myself. I believe in the autonomy of the individual up against the group.
And that's why I do what
the
I'm
person
told.
Has dignity created by God, can't be taken
Trump's
away,
God.
inalienable rights. I mean, those are the core beliefs of people on our side. The core beliefs of the people on the other side aren't really beliefs. They're impulses that derive from fear. And the core fear is I'm alone and powerless in this world. I need protection from a group I'm going to join. There is safety in numbers. That's the reigning impulse on the Democratic side. Let's all get together, and together we are stronger than we are alone. They fear being alone. These are people who sleep with the TV on. These are people who are just terrified. They're people who are on SSRIs and benzodiazepines. I mean, this is all shown. I mean, they're heavily medicated and neurotic because they're afraid. They don't believe in God, so they're terrified of death. They have no skills, so they're terrified of change. I mean, they've created an entire fake economy to elevate and compensate people who can't do anything useful. We live in a world where people who can plumb your house don't get paid anything relative to somebody who has no skills at all, who's working in the DEI department of a community college, right? So the whole enterprise is designed to take fearful people who believe themselves to be powerless, who have no useful skills, and make them feel safe and appreciated. That's the whole everyone gets a trophy thing that we used to make fun of, but it's actually very deep. And if I can just recommend to your listeners, probably the only 4 listening who haven't already read it, but Ted Kaczynski's original manifesto.
Oh, my God.
I'm not endorsing mail bombs, which I hate, by the way, or violence, which
But
I
he
hate.
did nail
Oh, for God's sakes, we're doing it.
He nailed what was going to happen with
We're
growth of
doing
technology, but he also, more than anything, described the leftist worldview, this helpless, alone, afraid, anxiety-ridden, terrified child in an adult body that is the average leftist. That's the mindset that drives their behavior. And no one described it as well as Ted Kaczynski.
Okay, man. Okay, cool. We got Tucker Carlson being interviewed on Alex Jones, extolling the virtues of Ted Kaczynski's manifesto.
Am I 9 again? What is happening?
This is great.
What is fucking happening?
I believe demons walk among us, and also Ted Kaczynski really nailed my enemies.
All right. Fine. Woo! That's such a great conversation ender. Well, you haven't read all of it. Nah, we're done. Get out of here.
Hey, I'm going to do this live show where I'm talking to Kid Rock about Ted Kaczynski's manifesto.
Ted Kid Rockzinski. Yeah.
This sucks.
Boy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's almost like a record scratch kind of moment. And
I would be if it's beyond. It's so unfortunate because it's like if I was writing that, I would be furious that I couldn't use it.
It would be a little hacky.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is trash. Oh, I'm really going to use a Unabomber reference. That's really what you're doing in 2024, Jordan.
Good job.
Good job. Yeah.
Good job, Tucker.
And here we are.
So Alex also doesn't want to dwell on this too much because it's the fucking Unabomber.
Yeah.
And so he asks, like, hey, man, what would have happened if Trump had gotten killed? And so they shift topics.
You follow the trajectory, and you are actually good at predictions. You are smart. So don't play yourself down here. People really want to hear what you have to say. What would have happened, God forbid, if they'd have blown his head off in Butler? And then tie it into your statements, if you can elaborate, on the political realignment that we're clearly seeing globally right now.
Gosh, that would have been the national. Keep in mind, that took place at a moment where they were still planning on running Biden, and the numbers were bad. And so killing Trump was the national crisis I referred to that they will always resort to out of desperation if they think they're going to lose power. And that would have been a crisis. First of all, it would have resulted in the death of an innocent, of a man, which is always a tragedy no matter where it happens.
I'm sorry?
But it did.
But the trauma to the country, watching a man get shot. The great thing about the Zapruder film is you really have to watch carefully to see the gore in it, to watch the top of the president's head come off. But Trump was being shot in, HD, close up. If he'd been shot in the face, that would have been the single ugliest, goriest, most horrifying thing, 300 million people had ever seen. And that's just bad. That's just bad right there. It's pornography on a moral level. Okay,
it'd be a snuff film.
It would be a snuff film, and watching that stuff is bad for you. Actually, it damages you, in my opinion. I know that. So that. But then this sort of subsequent effect, the ripples out from that, the chaos, the people realizing, wait a second, they just murdered the only hope of the disenfranchised half of the country. In the 2020 election, Biden voters owned 70% of the wealth in the United States. Trump voters 30%. So really, this is an economic divide.
Tucker's using a misleading statistic there at the end. He's taking this from a Brookings Institute study from 2020 that found the counties that ended up voting for Biden, quote, equal 70% of America's economy. This is not the same thing as saying that Biden voters control 70% of the wealth in the country, and Tucker knows damn well what the difference is. Yeah. He's been in this media game long enough, knowing he's misusing a fucking headline in a statistic. I say less of this worrying about assassinations being aired on TV and more quoting the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it is weird to think about, like, a full quarter of American presidents have been attempted assassinated, at least. You know? That's a high rate. Maybe we should think about what they do.
Yeah.
I think there's something about the job that maybe makes you more likely. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think maybe you get a lot of attention. You're the focus of a lot of people's strong political feelings.
I'm just saying that most jobs, I would almost argue, like all jobs, have a way lower than 25% attempted assassin
But
rate.
what percentage of jobs are called the leader of the free world? You get a lot of attention, a lot of focus put on you.
You know what? You're not wrong.
A lot of blame for
You're
a
not
lot
wrong.
of things.
You're not wrong.
Now, I'm going to come to Tucker Carlson's aid here and say I agree that showing a murder on TV is bad.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
That would have had a negative effect on public psyche, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think many people ever got over the Challenger disaster. So
people talk about that being a deeply...
I'm talking about it, and I was not alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do agree that someone being shot on TV is bad. But technically, we did kind of see that, even though the guy who got shot and died wasn't close up or anything. But he just kind of ignores that.
Who knows? Yeah.
Anyway, this idea that he has where it's like half of the country would have seen their only hope be killed.
Yeah, that's no good.
No.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad.
You know, 100 million people who have nothing. They have nothing. They have no political power. They have no economic power. The only thing they have is Trump. And now Trump's been murdered. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened then, but it would have been.
I do.
It would have been a turning point an abrupt turning point in the life of the country. You would have unleashed chaos. Who would do something like that? By the way, who would unleash chaos on a country? Like, how evil do you have to be to even consider doing something?
I was about to say that shows you'd almost have to be crazy to start a war with Russia. It just shows how reckless they are.
But reckless and callous and evil.
So it's just really, like, I have a lot of less than complimentary views, let's say, of Trump fans.
Sure.
And I think it's insulting to say, like, without him, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
I think he has a more negative view of Trump's base than I do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's really, really fucking sad.
Well, they have to hate them because that's the only way you can get away with lying to people like that.
It's the only way
right?
we can abusively sell them a hearing aid that you don't turn on.
Right? Don't you have to like just have a general distaste for humanity if you're like willing to lie the way that Tucker does?
I suspect.
That like there's no expression of love that is like what Tucker does.
No.
There's no way to express a generalized love for your fellow man through any of the things that Tucker has ever done.
No. And that's why his smile is angry.
I mean, yeah, it must be. Like, but maybe he's the most alone human being that's ever been created.
I mean, how could you not be?
Him and RFK are the only two people who have ever been so alone.
I mean, it's a choice to be a young up-and-comer and wear a bow tie.
Ugh.
I think you're courting your own loneliness.
Yeah,
I think
there
it
is
speaks
definitely
to a deep hole, a bow tie-shaped hole in your soul.
I genuinely, like, the more I encounter it, the more I truly believe that to grow up rich is child abuse. Like, it is a genuinely awful thing to do to a child, and then to have them grow up thinking that that's a good thing is even worse. And that leads to where we are.
I agree with some of the baseline thoughts that you're coming at this from. Sure. But I think the problem is, like growing up in poverty could also be described as child abuse.
Sure.
So you got to find that medium.
Where
is it ethically right to have a child?
I think the point that we're making is capitalism is not going to be the good answer at this final tally.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Tucker likes it, though.
Yep.
So he seems to have really reached the conclusion that they, the globalists or whoever, Biden, all of them, tried to kill Trump.
Right.
And that's fine for Alex. That's silly for
it's not good.
For Tucker.
Yeah.
They allowed him to be shot. That's just a fact. The Biden administration, in charge of his bodyguards, allowed him to be shot. You can say, well, they didn't know that was what going to happen. They weren't coordinating with the shooter. Okay, I'm willing to believe that. It doesn't change the fact that they allowed it. And in other words, if I let my toddler play by my swimming pool and go to Walmart for an hour and he drowns, I didn't drown him, but I allowed him to be drowned. It's the same crime.
Exactly.
So that's what they did.
This sounds to me like a guy who loves individualism and personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Biden is abstractly to blame for some dude shooting at Trump because he didn't stop it. Do you think that maybe there's a salient difference between the Secret Service and Trump and you and your baby with the pool? If Tucker doesn't understand the difference here, what he's suggesting about moral culpability is staggering.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
I mean, what's even crazier about it to me is like the more you study these types of events, that kind of thing, honestly, if there were 100 people out there with the intent to assassinate the president and do not care if they live or die, that president is going to die. It doesn't matter what the Secret Service can only do so much. They can only do so much. It's more of a deterrent for people who don't want to then face the consequences of stuff.
Right.
For people, if you just walk people towards, I mean, it's just,
and we've talked,
it's chaos.
And we've talked about this too. A lot of the times, you don't hear about someone maybe getting arrested with a gun at some place they shouldn't be at, where the president or former president was.
Yeah.
Because that's not the kind of stuff that's great for the news.
Yep.
You know, they keep a fair amount of threats to the president's life.
It's a wise thing to keep it close. Yeah.
So you hear about things like this, and maybe they stop a bunch of them before there's one to the level of Butler.
Right. But I mean, the thing about the Butler one is that it's from a distance. You know, like if you're going to measure that, Reagan was right up close. Andrew Jackson had 2 guns jam on him. 2 guns jam face to face. And that's why you never try and assassinate the president in the South or on a hot day.
Because of the humidity. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just think... I think that there's something incredibly dumb about the way that Tucker is approaching things.
Yeah.
And if you extrapolate his logic out from the blame that he's assigning, I don't understand how you could justify anything. Like,
or not. You know, like, what isn't okay?
Well, I mean,
none of it's your fault.
Can you make guns? Are you allowed to manufacture guns? Like, you know that someone irresponsibly handling that gun could kill somebody.
Sure.
So you got to watch over everybody who has one of those guns if you're a gun manufacturer, right? To not do that is like leaving a kid by a pool. That's...
I remember getting high and watching commercials where if you get high and you leave a kid by the pool, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an egg.
Yeah.
So, look, I just think this is dumb. I think that Tucker I feel like he wants to be taken more seriously than this, and his actions don't deserve it.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Like, because he's not even allowed in the, or not allowed, but he's not in the real world anymore, right?
No, but I think that he believes, and I hope erroneously, that he'll be allowed back if he burns this past in order to create whatever the next future is.
It'd be hard.
He could try to pull that Glenn Beck move or something by disowning all of this.
Yeah.
But I hope that that's not the case. I hope he can't do that.
I mean, yeah, the unfortunate part is that the roadmap exists and it is almost always successfly.
Right.
Yeah.
So bad luck, Tucker. Bad luck.
Yeah.
So we have one last clip, and I think that this is really, Tucker, he's a cynical fuck.
Yeah.
It's like so many things in politics. Like everyone in politics is lying on some level. They're all creepy. I got it. They're all falling short of expectations. None of them is much of an idealist. They're all kind of cynical. But the ones who do what you want them to do, take the win. You know? You know what I mean? Like, just take the win. It's good. Like, you hear all these people like, oh, Elon is not as committed to free speech as I am. Well, that's true. He's not as committed to free speech as I am, but I don't own anything. I'm just a yapper on the tube. He's done more for free speech than anyone in my lifetime, so let's just take the win. You know what I mean?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. In closing, been gracious with the time, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I mean, this is not fine when there's demons. You know what I mean? You can't be like, hey, I have a cynical analysis of good enough whenever... Like, everything is based on truth, and everything is supposed to be so based on the importance of virtue. And you can't have that, don't look a gift horse in the mouth kind of mentality.
Right. But, I mean, more to the point, if the fight is between good and evil, you can't take the W because there isn't one. the fight is still going on. You didn't win.
Right.
That's just another part of the fight. And if you feel like you won and the fight's still going on, there's a good chance that you actually lost. Because if you'd won, the fight would not be going on anymore. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the evil one is the one that wants to keep fighting forever, because that's what they do. I guess? I have no idea.
Is Elon Musk really doing much for free speech? That's a question that I think is worth analyzing for Tucker. I think that he's definitely allowed a lot of distasteful speech to become more prevalent.
Sure.
Is that a function of increased free speech? I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
On actual free speech issues that are really important, Elon Musk doesn't seem like he's really that much better, and may even be worse.
Oh, absolutely.
Than previous incarnations of Twitter.
Right.
He is more. If your sort of barometer for free speech is how well does my bigot nonsense profit?
Sure.
Like how easily can I disseminate this shit?
Yeah.
Then he's great for your bottom line.
Right.
But if it's actually about free speech, then you need to recognize that you're using free speech as that proxy for your marketability.
Yeah. Didn't he ban cisgender?
No, well.
Okay. Okay, never mind. My bad.
It's complicated. It's complicated, man. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, that's what you really come down to is like, no, you don't believe that Operation Warp Speed killed all these fucking people. That's
Right.
your brand.
Right.
You don't actually believe that Elon Musk is fighting for free speech. That's your brand. You don't believe any of this. You don't believe you're fighting the fucking devil. That's your brand.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's exhausting. And it's embarrassing because Tucker wants to be more than this. And you can tell.
Yeah.
Alex maybe is right at home with this.
Yeah.
Profiting off living in the sewer, basically, is kind of Alex's milieu.
Yeah, like the more I think about this, the more I think Tucker's description of Democrats is oftentimes him telling on himself. You know? That kind of idea of these people just want safety and they just want to be part of a group is so much like, yes, that's why you do all of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you want this group of people to love you.
Right.
That's you, man.
Right. And I think that there's a certain amount of that desire to belong and
We
shit like that that
all
is
do
human.
that.
That is-
No, everybody.
Right.
There's no political side. That's why he's so crazy, is because he thinks that's,
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's Tucker's failing to grasp that that desire to have the group
is good.
And, but all of that does not have to be based in fear.
Right.
It can be based in love.
It's awesome.
It can be based in concern and desire to see other people and everyone live as happily as possible. That's not based in fear all the time.
No.
But it has to be if you read the fucking Unabomber and you're like, this is heavy. This is deep stuff about my enemies.
Yeah, that to read the Unabomber manifesto as Tucker Carlson, that would fuck with your head.
Yeah.
There's no way to lionize the Unabomber and be Tucker Carlson without losing your mind.
Well, he's trying.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's not working well,
It's not
and
going
apparently
great.
tickets aren't selling that great. So I guess this is a plug for Alex's appearance on Tucker's live show in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
'Cause
shit.
he's certainly not selling those tickets.
I don't think our audience is rushing
No,
to the
please
gate.
don't go as a bit.
Do
It
not
won't be
go.
funny.
No, it won't be funny, and you'll hate yourself.
Anyway, we might go as a bit.
That's
No, we're
because
not.
it would be a bit.
We're not.
Oh man,
I'm putting the axe down. On that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
We'll be back though for another episode. But until then, we have a website.
Indeed, we do. It's knowledgefight.com.
Yep, we'll be back. But until then, I'm Neo. I'm Leo. I'm DZX Clark. I am the mysterious professor.
Woo, yeah, woo, yeah, woo. And now here comes the sex robot.
Andy in Kansas, you're on the
Well. I will probably continue this, but I'm going to end the stream here. I will still be on Discord. But I feel like listening to stuff that I don't want to be streaming as well. So let's call it here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.